A lot of fails today on the small caps. HIMS as well just lost the volume weighted average price. So keep your eye out on that. But before we head into the big boys, we're going to send it up to Sia at the big desk with news.
Crazy. I'm going to send it over to the big guys as well right now, but we're going to what I want to warn you about is Oracle, ORCL, down 4.5% on the day. Today is at 52-week lows, trading around 120 right now. Sending it to the guys for the show.
Oracle down again? Not possible. That's not, I mean, such a strong stock. Why would that stock even be down at all?
It's afternoon giggle time. I don't know.
I just came back to this. All of a sudden, I got Joe over there. I got Sharif.
I don't even know what's going
on over there.
They just started chuckling, and it gets infectious. So I'm like, what are we laughing at? And then you get the giggles, and Sharif's laughing, Joe's laughing, Sean's laughing, I'm laughing, Sia's laughing, and nobody has any clue
it's
why.
All Joe's fault, as far as
I don't know.
That's what Sharif said. And
I'm all right with that, though. But the reason why I started laughing is because Sharif was doing the old high school move, trying not to laugh. And then obviously it just makes everyone laugh after that when you're holding it in.
That's so cap,
bro.
You're the one who was quite dismissive there of the person who's saying
but I said bye to Jody first, and then you're like, see you later, Jody. And I'm like,
it's a Jody thing.
Oh,
okay. There's more than enough of everybody around here, but we got to go to Neil right now.
You want to know why, everybody? There's nothing to giggle about when it comes to Orogenics. We've got some updates out of them, ticker OGEN on the NYSE American. The company has activated its phase 2A clinical trial in Australia with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury. It's an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Orogenics has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, resolving liabilities, and restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution, with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. That's OGEN over on the NYSE American. I want to shout out to OGEN. And oh my, the market took it on the chin today.
Yeah, the market down 2.11%, but that doesn't mean that the best trade for me today can't be a long. And there it goes right there. We really nailed this one. NVIDIA, it's going to be a big one today for me, and just pretty happy with it overall, obviously, as we found that bottom, man. And it took us a couple times. We got hit there. We got hit right there. But it was my number one trade idea today was to go long your boy NVIDIA. So the 212 wasn't existing there today, but we did like sort of the rhetorics that was spit out of Google and, more CapEx. We like all that kind of stuff. We've seen it's an AMD kind of a day right now. AMD has their meeting or analyst, whatever it is.
Whatever the event
there. I don't know what it's called. If Federa was here, she would know what it's called for sure. But unless Sia, do you know where is Sia? Is she still back there? No, she gone. Okay. She's out of here for now. That's okay. I was just going to say she was covering this earlier, but I don't know what the event is called. But anyways, it's AMD today, down 3% there. And it looks like it just started getting picked up there around 12:30. Nice downside move. And then there was some notes with Cerebras. Apparently, right?
Advancing AI.
This stock was going crazy. They bought some AMD chips and some sort of a deal there where they're building with AMD. So that caused a little bit of a move higher there, but you can see brought right back to life there, up 4%. I just remember Sia saying Cerebras was up like 7 or 8%. And so that's what it was right there. And then we fall right back in line on Cerebras. But yeah, just quickly here, 117, we'll give back a little bit here, I guess, as SpaceX trying to go back there to the upside. We covered down here. We shorted again at 116. It does drop down to 115. Should have had some outs there. But right now you're trying to take out, the day's high on SpaceX. I mean, what was once down at 111 right there. So I don't want to hear any more like SpaceX can't move, $10 in a day. I mean, right there, that was down 5, back up 6, and to a positive spot right there. Hey, maybe it's, people were listening there and thought that, maybe it is a little overdone to the downside based on potential traders selling off their shares come August the 6th. I still think that's a possibility to have a downside move there. But now maybe we found a little bit of a bottom at 110 or so. I mean, I think we were all looking for doomsday there at 100 flat, and then some people in the chat 80. No one's wrong. You know, I mean, this is a 1 day kind of move right here back to the upside. SpaceX hasn't had much of a green day or green 3 days since we IPO. Actually, this is 3 days, but since then we haven't had.
You haven't had back-to-back.
No, we haven't had back. Well, there's been. I mean, one of these days might be back-to-back, but
any update.
yeah, just downside right there. So yeah, not the greatest experience so far for SpaceX nibblers, I'd say. As if you've been in it already, you're probably out of the money. But that was a good little bottom there at 112. So congrats to anybody that was able to hit that. I'm just trying to short. It just the way it ramped up, like I didn't stop out at 117, but I think now we can probably, take that off. So if this comes up now, we'll just work with NVIDIA and we'll figure out what's good after that. So 117.20 will. Oops, did I just, I already have a stop. Okay, got to fix that. My stop was at 117.50, but we're going to go 117.21 now, put the stop in and get out if and when that winds up breaking that. We're short right here at 115.80, so we're out $1 right now on this trade. It's fine. It's not going to hurt us too bad there, but, we'd like to see this maybe retrace back in just a little bit. But, yeah, it's now above VWAP. It's above everything. So this one wouldn't surprise me if it did work long right now for SpaceX. So we'll be a little cautious on it.
While it's trying to go, I just noticed, you look at Rocket Lab and you're like, okay, well, SpaceX is going to try to go green. And by the way, if SpaceX doesn't break 120, is it that big of a? I know it's a nice bounce for the day trade, but structurally, if it doesn't break 120, it still looks pretty bad on a 15, an hourly chart, a daily chart. Rocket Labs recovers almost all the way. So that's what you would expect. If they drop together, then they bounce together. But have a look at ASTS. Now, in the middle of the day, it tried to fail VWAP, and then somebody's buying this thing at the open range low at 59.25. Well, if SpaceX is going up and this is no longer following, that means it's relatively weak. Market's trending down. It's still putting in lower highs. I want to play VWAP or flat bottom break. 59, it's like 17 or something. It breaks this low. I want to hop back into this trade and see if that gets to the low of the day. If SpaceX makes a turn, this one is way weaker. Overall. So yeah, you've seen this happen across some beleaguered sectors where the leader goes and the rest will follow if SpaceX is, of course, going to be the leader. Sam has been saying they're calling out ASTS all day. I'm pretty sure when I was doing the lesson today, I saw somebody in the chat was talking about ASTS. And if that was you, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes you do want to look at the sympathy plays. The other thing on my mind is the weakness in crypto. Like IBIT is still making lower highs. This was the one short that we weren't able to hold on to. That IBIT socked out, came back down through. At that point, obviously didn't get the reload. But as long as it holds this trend down, I want to jump in here, take it through the low. Even if it breaks the trend, I'd still wait for the volume weighted average price as well. So ASTS, sometimes affectionately known as ASTIS, and IBIT are on my mind. And I suppose there's this Paramount thing, which is moving around for you small cap gappers. Looked like it was dead, halted down, opened back up just recently, and PAVS is trying its best to get back to that halt price. From now on, I feel like every single one of these, you got to check to see whether the market cap is trying to hold above the 5 million now. Because
oh yeah, that's that new rule, huh?
Yeah, like with that rule,
that's not official yet, I don't think.
Well, that's the thing about that rule is it's where it closes, and it's 30 days in a row anyways. And I think what'll be very interesting is when stocks get to, if it's 30 days, like 25 days, 28, like in that last week, let's say, before they get delisted with that small cap rule, and then they're trying to close above the 5 million market cap, I think you might get some squeezes higher where someone's trying to push it in the final hour. And that's something you're going to want to watch, because if there's a vested interest in keeping the stock above a certain price, it used to be like, oh, you got to get to $1. Now it's you got to get to 5 market cap. It's something you're going to want to watch. You're going to want to look at the market cap of some of these small cappers on those fateful days. This doesn't matter for this one today. I'm just talking about in the future. Like, I'm not going to check this one now because who cares? But in the future, I think it's something you're going to want to be paying attention to for sure. And yes, there is. I've seen it before. I think it was. I'm trying to remember the stock. It could have been Best Buy. It might not have been. It doesn't really make a difference. But there was one that it needed 10 days in a row closing over $1. and it got to the 8th day or something, and it was at 91 cents in the afternoon. And lo and behold, at 3 o'clock, what was on the bid at 90 cents? A couple million shares just parked the bid. And then what happens when it got to 95? Oh, that couple million shares was suddenly bidding higher. And this big, large order was trying to walk it up to $1 into the close. Right? And it's like, you see something like that, you're like, okay, well, that's kind of fugazi, but be darned if you're gonna watch that happen again. Next time, you just punch long in front of that sucker and then put your offer at 99 cents. And if the guy gets hit, you just punch out on that in that order. Because if someone else is gonna manipulate, you're not breaking any rule if you take advantage of somebody else's manipulation. It's not my problem. If that person wants to put that order in there, whether they want to get filled or not, I'm just gonna trade off of what I see if you can take advantage. So with the small caps, you might want to take advantage of it if you see it there. All right, let us know what you guys are watching. Market's still sliding lower. Somebody really wants to hold this bid.
We just saw. I took a piece out there of SpaceX at this 116.20 or 30 marker there, just out of 20% of what we had. I was a little nervous that we could break. I don't like trading long above VWAP and short above VWAP and above all of the indicators that I have right here. So I'm going to, respect this little wick there and see if that is sort of a new low. I'm actually going to put, I thought I had a bid there. I didn't. I'm going to put a bid in there now just for like 10% or so of what we have left, and then we'll just see if we can get, because there's some bottom, we just had another bottom wick right there to 25, and then it got bought right back up. I feel like there's some buyers now in SpaceX. I saw what you said there, Lyndon Meyer. Was 111 a key spot for you? I mean, it was the last piece that I got out 111.11? 111.17 I have in the account today. So that was a pretty good fill, obviously, on that look there. So we're pretty happy with that. And, we're really happy with our SpaceX trading today. Short there, short more, and then downside. And then we took another fill right into here. And that's where we were going to use 117 as our out, and then should have probably got a little closer to 117. And then my out was actually at 117.50. And then I just changed it now to 117.20, noticing that there's a little bit of toppy action right there. I'm going to add, I have 20% of a unit right now. So, some trades you'll see me sitting here and I'll say, okay, I have, 10, not 10 units, 3 or 4 units would be the maximum that we'll put onto something. And right here for SpaceX, I just don't even have one yet. So we'll wait to see if we can get, closer to like a quarter of a unit or so up here. And only because I don't, I not having the greatest feeling, we did have, obviously off the open, we did have many more shares there. Okay, it's a nice little battle back here. I mean, happy with Google. It's basically back to flat. Not on the day, but back to 320. So that's a good little level there. I'm going to take advantage again of this little bit of an uptick here in NVIDIA, as it's going to be a big stock, and it just dropped below VWAP. I didn't even notice it. So I punched out a little bit when it dropped below. Now we start to go back up there to the upside. So that's going to be what's going on there for NVIDIA and SpaceX. We're going to try to find some more opportunities for you right now. Oh, Figma, are they reporting tonight? We could definitely have a look. See that the big one I just saw another super chat there, $20 from Chris about Intel there tonight. So we will talk about that in a couple minutes. But check Fig in Power Hour. Was that yesterday's maybe check Figma in Power Hour? I can take a quick little look here and see what Figma did yesterday at this time. I mean, Power Hour 3 o'clock, but whatever, same difference. And let's just have a quick look. Yesterday, I guess yesterday Figma did have a little low here and started to go back up to the upside, but nothing exciting to draw attention to, I wouldn't think. So, we'll see. If you're looking at Figma right now, I mean, I don't mind, down 6%. The thing is, you got to take out this 200 period moving average. So just to have a look, we'd only seen VWAP in the 200 period right off the open, where many names got cranked down to the downside. It's nice to see it took its 50 period moving average. That would have been a good long there at 20. That brought you to only 20.25. So not much movement there for Figma. Again, another failed IPO, but, it doesn't mean it can't work. So I would say I'd like to see a break here. It looks like we're trying to break the 200 period right now. So that's good. That's not going to be good enough for me. I'd rather go long punching. I mean, it might even just have to wait for VWAP, to be honest with you, and then use something like the 200 period as a bouncing spot for you, if you're wrong. But I don't mind Figma up in this area to go long if you're using 20 as your bottom. So yeah, not bad. A little bit of risk reward there. It's not going to be movement enough.
Yeah, it's just
like it literally has moved 20 cents since 12 o'clock. So not much going on there, but we'll have a quick look at Figma if it touches $20. So
yeah, it's pretty.
the other one was Intel.
Yeah, Intel's the only one.
Well, no, that was a super chat.
Oh yeah, well I just double checked. It's like Deckers is the other earnings name that's going to be reporting, which is kind of boring. But Intel earnings, you're wanting to short a pop like IBM yesterday. You know, Intel after today. Like, look at we've seen a bit of a bloodbath, right? You're already down 3% on Intel, and it's been trending down all day long. Goes into obviously big resistance. It does feel like they've got less of a barrier to try to make a rally. The implied move is huge for Intel. It's 12%, or like 8, or 11.5, 12%, something like that. Last earnings, Intel did 23. So that's the one that you hear, like that kind of implied volatility. Yeah, you can try all you want to make a bit of a guess. Like I would have felt way better about, you know, looking at like short and say Tesla or like long and thinking like IBM or ServiceNow had a chance because they've been beaten up so much. But when you have that kind of implied volatility, it's like, oh goodness, no, that's cray-cray. Now, if you're talking about this afternoon going into earnings, like trying to fade it on any kind of a pop, well, the pattern's definitely with you. So if that's what we're talking about, I'm not going to sit there and argue with that notion. It's underneath that 100 level. You've got the flat bottom break happening into 100. So if it bounces and puts in a lower high, rejecting this 100, yeah, the short this afternoon kind of feels good. But that one feels like it'll be a widowmaker type of play. I just took a flat bottom break. Well, I guess I'm in ASTS. Similar trade idea here for SOFI. It just broke a flat bottom. Oh wait, SoFi's down 2.5 points today. It's like they didn't even do anything. They didn't do anything. They didn't hurt anybody, and they're losing the 50 period, and they're wanting to hunt their lows. It's just nobody can catch a break today. But I wanted to find things under VWAP breaking down. So it's a breakdown here of the flat bottom, and then the stop just above. Like really, that ends up being like a 70 stop here for SoFi. And just looking for it to flush into the low of the day. So those are a couple names that we're looking at right now. Let us know in the chat what you're watching. I didn't even realize this when I looked over and was like, oh, that PAVS is the stock that's halting. I didn't look at the other stock. Like, here's my halt scanner. And at the time, I just saw PAVS and like glossed over the 7 halts or whatever that is from NVVE.
I mean, it's halting all day. 7 halts.
Yeah, that's not good.
You mean in the 7 halts in the last hour?
Like I saw Andrew in the chat talking about it's a small cappers market. Well, it's a small cappers widowmaker day as well. Like this is, if you don't, and I'm not saying people don't trade with stop, but every now and then we have these conversations about stop orders and using stops and saying, hey, look, sometimes you get stopped out and it's like, oh, you get stopped out at the wrong moment. But if you just watch it, you're like, oh, that's a wick out. You don't take that out. You jump back in. All of these little things that people will say. I will always defend the use of stop orders because this. Like, what happens if you don't have a stop order and you're long this in the pre-market? Like maybe, or this isn't the pre-market, this is the open. So you're long this sucker in like the 6 to 6.5 range. You're holding on. You've got maybe 20, 30% left, whatever it might be. I don't care. And then you don't have a stop. It halts down. And then if you're getting out in here, you lose everything. If you have a stop under VWAP, then you protect a 20% gain, let's just say. I mean, that's not bad. Like, obviously, if it wicks you out and goes to $10, you're hating life because it could have been even bigger. But think about the alternative. Like, the alternative is, like, what if you don't even get out in this one because you don't have a stop, right? So it opens back up, and you're like, no, now it's going to bounce. And you think, okay, well, I'm going to put another stop at break even. Oh, now I put another stop at $6 under here. And then it halts down, and then it opens up at $2.50. And then you go from like a winning trade to you've now had your biggest loss and your account is shut down. Stop orders save accounts, period. And on small cappers, it's even, they don't even do that on large cap stocks. They protect gains on large cap stocks. On small cappers, they'll save your account because it'll prevent you from that 150% loss, which is easily possible if you have to hold through a big long halt on like an NVVE.
Yeah, definitely. I think stop losses, no matter what sort of the style you're trading, definitely something to look at. You never know when a stock's going to make that move, and you don't want to be caught in a halt. I mean, that's so get out, even if you put your stop loss at a halt level. that's not a horrible strategy either. But let's go find out who made all the money yesterday at Real Trading and on what markets they made money on there. So this is yesterday's top 10 traders. And of course, we are at Real Trading on a prop floor. And we've talked about this a couple times now. And look, there it is again. Yeah, the Turkish market right there. And it's nice to see someone in Hong Kong, not in Hong Kong, but on the Hong Kong market. There could be in Hong Kong. Yeah, no idea where they're located. These are the markets that were traded and the money that was made by one individual trader. So yesterday's top trader in the company took down 20,600 US dollars and traded these three New York. Well, these happen to be all New York, but all these three names in the United States, all US markets. There, the next one is very similar. And then we had someone over here going to Turkey. We talked about that. He definitely paid for the hair there. A good day. Amex and NASDAQ again right there. And then, Hong Kong, great to see that. And we actually showed you guys Real Trading. And the website, of course, is, I think if I just get rid of Real Trading and we just go like that, and then we click on CMC Markets. No, we click on here, and this is who we are with right now. So it's Real Trading. You guys can become a trader today. Sign up. It's 50 plus global markets. So that's why I'm trying to show you a little bit of the money that's being made on some of these marketplaces. And so that's one of them there. And yeah, we're just excited to continue to work with Real Trading. Been over 25 plus years. And, there's our little logo, which for some reason.
Why is that so small?
I know. I brought that up yesterday or this morning or whatever and was like, what the hell? But there it is. So, all right, I'm just looking at Figma. By the way, we did get it here on SpaceX. So there. So we just got a 117, another out there at 116.50. So we're just stacking right now. We're putting money on top of money on top of money. And it's been good so far with that theory of, trying to scalp out a little bit. We're above VWAP. I still favor the short. We've seen the stock collapse on itself in the afternoon many, many times. And it's just nervous hands. I just took another fill there, by the way. I don't know if you can see two fiat. There you go, two fills. So I took another one there at 50. Just, it's 20 cents in the money now. We're able to massage this a little bit. So, let's see if it does drip down. But, we see some bottoms right there. I do have another bid at 116.12. Without any further ado, I'm going to put another bid actually at 35. And we're going to go over to Sia and see what she's up to.
Yeah, U.S. President Donald Trump will be speaking shortly. He will be speaking at unveiling the ratepayer protection plan to cut energy costs. So that will be happening very shortly. If there's any updates, market moving statements, I will be keeping you updated.
Yeah, I wonder if that had anything to do. We just had a bit of a move there on USO, thank you. Okay. So it's probably worth watching it. I mean, off of the highs for the first time today. That's actually it's not the first pullback. It's had 3 pullbacks all day long about the same range. Like it'll just go up and then pull back a buck into VWAP and pull back a buck. It just kind of did the same thing off of the highs here. But you're gonna have to watch out. The president can move this, move the headlines. And if it's to the downside, let's just say it's good news and he moves the markets to the downside, battle's up 18%. You might want to watch that. It was Sky Quarry as well, another one. This one probably in a more precarious price position because it halted up. Can't make this up. It halted up at $6.25, proceeded to open, double tap it, and then drop all the way to where it started. Now it's right back to where it did the same thing, and the president's about to talk. If he tanks oil prices, this thing could drop heavily. And I'm sure there's people that are looking at this if you're trading small cappers. The oil ones have been absolutely fantastic. I mean, a lot of days. So yeah, keep it. I think this one's moving more than battle. So if you're looking for a small capper in the energy space, it's going to make a move. And everyone always wants battle. This one's just moving better. It's Sky Q. That's the one you want. Way, way more interesting of a name. And then back to show you our NVVE is still dying and heading lower. What's the deal here? Because obviously this must have had an offering or something. Oh, never mind. This one's being delisted. That's why. Yeah, so these guys are being delisted, so effective tomorrow. You'll be able to find it on the OTC markets. Shout out to Jeff Mendel. Okay. That's why it's headed lower. That can be a tricky one. It's nasty. Not that anyone owns it, and I'm sure not that many people own it in the long term.
Was that NVVE?
NVVE.
Oh, that's being delisted.
Yeah, when I looked at the chart, I was like, oh, it's probably an offering. It's not. It's being delisted
effective out of there. Okay. NVVE. And that's part of the reasons why you want to make sure you watch us and ask us questions about stocks. We do have access to good news service and everything here as well. We'll be able to discuss all of that with you guys. Okay. Looking at some of the news that's moving names today. Of course, it's going to be an earnings story, and Wow. Talk about people deciding what to do right now with TSLA. I mean, Tesla is just stuck right now. It's been stuck in a little bit of a sort of a wedge here for a minute. And we're going to see if 320 wants to hold. I mean, I think the 320 is obviously a pretty important area there psychologically. I know we dipped below it here early, but you're trying now to bounce off of it, right? And so let's see, down 14%, you know, it's still underneath, but we are now, you know, trying to flirt with anyways the 50 period and then the 25, but it's looking like it wants to get lower. I mean, the futures are the same kind of way here today as we are now starting to, you know, high. I mean, you could talk about the high at VWAP, fine. I mean, that should have been, again, like some trades are just so easy. They write themselves right there at VWAP and higher, you know, lower high, lower high. And it looks like we might have just made another one. Watching out for this 50 period moving average, and maybe a break there gets us excited. But I think Tesla, for now, I'd really like to see it break that 200 period moving average. You know, we hadn't been there obviously all day. We looked at it a little bit into there, like we just showed you on a zoomed in, you know, trade of 326 there maybe if you were looking for a short somewhere. But right now, I think you're going to have to wait for 322 to maybe take a short, or if you're excited about it, maybe a break long on TSLA there. But yeah, so that's one name there. And then if you go over to Google as well, you know, you'll see down here. Yeah. It's we can. Our guest can wait till 2:30. I mean, that's. I think that's appropriate. We'll give him a couple minutes over there. We do got to go to SIA, so we'll go there in a minute. But right now, Google down 6.5. You know, I like this price. I've been buying it at 320 now, and I think it's going to be one name that, you know, definitely give 3 days to all the earnings plays that you see. I mean, including an IBM, which we always leave it alone a little bit, but IBM did touch that 200 mark again here today, and now busting through 204. All right, Sia, what you got for us over there?
Just keep an eye out on USO here. If there's anything major, I will report, but USO continuing to slide a little bit over here, more than what it was. It was up 8% on the day, currently up 6.8% on the day. It was at $142.29, currently at $140.47.
Trump, Trump saying that President Xi is coming on September the 24th. So, okay, so they've made a date, and that should be nice. And we'll just wait to see what winds up happening there with FXI and with some. Oh, wow, FXI at zeros today? Okay. That should be probably bought up. I mean, I think that when President Xi is coming to United States, okay, that's nice to see. Hopefully they'll be able to, you know, come up with something. And that's where I said, you know, a name like Boeing, if we're going to look outside of the market here a little bit and like stop talking about all these tech names and worried about like infrastructure and what's going on, I do think Boeing is pretty important for the China trade. You know, China sometimes when they try to, you know, reach out and give that olive branch, a lot of the times it's based on orders for Boeing. I mean, you know, we have that NVIDIA chip problem as well, that could get discussed. But Boeing is something where, you know, President Trump would be happy if he got an order for, I have no idea how many would 25 planes. I have no idea. And China needs, you know, transportation. So I would
demand's
think
there. So
yeah, so I think that's there. We saw. I mean, I know AAL didn't have a good quarter. We've seen some, you know, missed opportunities.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, like look at this Jets ETF right here. About to have Andrew Rader come on, which should be fun, and he's an ETF guy. So we'll maybe talk to him about this as well. But there's the Jets ETF, and this is a holding of the top 5. Look, there's many names in it, but basically it's the top 5 that, you know, Southwest, Delta, American Airlines, here in Air Canada. United, did I say them? But all the way to the downside there, and you're just going to see it's trying to hit the 50 period. So instead of picking and choosing which maybe airline you're looking at, you could take the Jets ETF. But at the end of the day, it's still, you know, cooking. It's still pretty good. Still trying to get above the 50 period off of a couple bad days right here. So above the 200, good to see that with the Jets ETF. So yeah, just I like Boeing, and I think if we're going to talk a little bit about China, I think that's a play outside of the Babas of the world or the K-Webs or FXI and things like that. So,
who hit that?
Who hit that? I don't have the China button myself.
I don't even have that button. So that obviously has to be Andre hitting that button.
Andre the Giant.
Andre.
that guy was a monster, man. They used to say that guy used to crush like basically a 2-4 beer, like
2 cases of beer.
Yeah, like if he would go out or whatever, or sit back in the locker room like they all did back in the day. I kind of feel bad for all those guys now, but
but he was a giant. I heard stories about.
Well, yeah, literally.
There's you know who Wade Boggs is, right?
Wade Boggs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a baseball player, but like he's not like Jose Canseco where he's like 240 pounds. This is like a regular size normal dude who apparently would crush 2 cases of beer on flights between cities when they were playing.
Yeah.
He just sit there on the team plane and crush 2 cases.
And was an all-star.
Oh, he was a stud.
Think about
all the
how
guy
different
did is, all
sports
he
are.
did is align the ball to the opposite field. That was his ball. He was basically like Tony Gwynn in the other league. Just line the ball in the opposite field. Like he ain't no Shohei Ohtani or Bo Jackson. And we're gonna go to see it and we come back. The Raider Trader's gonna be here.
U.S. President Donald Trump speaking, saying, I will discuss AI with Xi. China, Xi is coming on September 24th. We're leading China and other countries on AI. The triple Qs are something I'm watching right now. They're down 2% on the day. The move has not been crazy after U.S. President has started speaking. Anything crazy, we will let you know. But for now, back to the guys. We have a very cool interview coming up now.
Yes, sir, and thank you very much, Sia. He's locked and loaded. We see him. There's our good friend Andrew Rader. What up, buddy? First off,
reporting for duty. It seems
reporting for duty with the Raider Report hat.
Oh, you got the Raider Report.
You know, a little drip here and there won't hurt. You know what I mean?
All right.
We like it.
Hey, send me one over here, man.
That's what I'm saying. You know, we don't have. I'm losing my hair. I need something on this
some
head.
free advertising for you, my guy, over here.
Now.
We should do like a jersey swap. You send me a Trader TV hat. I wear the Trader TV hat.
Okay, we could definitely do that. We can figure that out. If we have any Trader TV hats lying around.
I don't know if I have the budget for you guys, though, anyways.
We used to have merch around here. Oh, I'm sure you have the budget.
Oh, we know you do.
But good talk. Excuse me. Good talk about DRAM that day when SK Hynix IPO'd, and you gave us a trade there, and you were talking about shorting DRAM the minute that SK Hynix came out, and we were actually referencing you that day because that's basically exactly what happened. SK Hynix came out and then all the money focused over there, and DRAM sort of gave it up that day. Was that a trade that you were able to get in yourself? How did that work out for you? And what are you thinking about the relationship now with SK Hynix now that it's on the market? You still like that stock? What are you thinking about that as far as the memory game is concerned?
Yeah, so that was a really interesting kind of saga. You know, the original, it was an IPO, but it's actually an ADR. So it actually ended up being a cleaner trade, the SNDK short. I actually shorted SNDK, so what I did was I split my risk between SK Hynix and SNDK. Still took the opening print trade, as we talked about with IPOs, and you guys know this from SpaceX, but the opening print trade is often a very tight risk-reward advantageous trade because, well, you can get, the first to a market. And when you're the first to a market, that is a big speed advantage. You know, we talk about edges in the market and defining your edge. There's all sorts of different edges. Some people have bigger brains than other people genetically. Maybe they just train their brain harder than others. But those are all edges. Intelligence, speed, access to different things, access to markets is an edge. And so this SK Hynix, great IPO trade. A part of my playbook moving forward is just whenever you see these huge IPOs, and even coming up with OpenAI and Anthropic, well, when OpenAI kind of IPOs, who do you think is going to go down? Well, it's going to be a lot of the names that are like sympathy trades to that. So kind of Microsoft and things like that. People who are holding Microsoft for exposure to OpenAI, but because they can't buy OpenAI. So that's the kind of idea with that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think that's always pretty interesting to see different strategies for these IPOs. Yeah. I mean, for the OpenAI, I think Microsoft, I mean, you could look at something else when that IPOs. Mm-hmm. Amazon and Google are one of the biggest holders there on Anthropic. So maybe a IPO there from OpenAI. You think that's even going to happen this year? Like, I don't know. We keep on hearing back and forth talk there about OpenAI and Anthropic, and I'm not even sure it's a great opportunity for them to come through there. I mean, Google just did not have a great quarter, as I'm sure we can get involved with that very soon with you here. But I don't know. I'm not really hearing the greatest things. They've delayed Gemini now. Altman's going back and forth with all these heads of all these companies, and there just seems to be a lot going on with OpenAI. I'm not super excited. I mean, I'm excited for the IPO. I think it's great. But the IPO, as you know, they tend to suck up a lot of time and money in the market.
That's exactly.
You're not just going to bring, you know, a $1 trillion company to market. You need to find funds, and often we see big names selling off heading into IPO to free up some money so people could stand in there and buy it. You think the OpenAI or Anthropic IPO would be a good thing for the NASDAQ if we got it this year?
You know, it's super interesting. This will kind of lead me into what we'll talk about later, but we're at a point in the market where, is it a coincidence that they dropped, or at least OpenAI announced they were potentially delaying their IPO after SpaceX topped? I don't know if that's it, because if you actually look at the original announcement, it was already dropping a lot, and they kind of said, you know, do we want to delay this? I think they have the opportunity to, but a lot of people are looking at this environment, and yeah, it's a super hot semiconductor market. We have picks and shovels names going up a ton, but they've really pulled in recently, really gone down. And so kind of the question is, you know, how do we think about, you know, if you're an OpenAI, like, do you want to IPO right now in this market? I'm sure they would do really well temporarily, but that's just something for them to decide. But as far as us traders, I did kind of want to talk about, if you guys have just 2 minutes, kind of talk about what I'm thinking about the AI trade moving forward. A lot of people were talking about evaluations and things like that recently. You know, I wrote about this in my last report, but the kind of life cycle of this AI stuff, I believe to be in kind of a shorter term slump. You have a lot of different signs. I know a lot of people are coming out of the woodworks and pointing to evaluations, and I'm no fundamental guy, but I can tell you that evaluations being cheaper is actually a really good sign that you're seeing a compression of a cycle. And so we're entering this more mature landscape of the AI cycle. And I don't know if I hit on this last time, but with that comes a lot more positioning trades, positioning-based trades. You can no longer, and all you guys are seeing this in real time, you can no longer go and see really a multi-day trend in this market right now. Like, outside of energy and some of these, like, you know, Iran things, you look at everything, it's up, down, up, down, up, down, huge ranges, and you feel like you're stuck. And so that's kind of the basis of this market right now, is it's all positioning. Summertime especially, and shout out to Jem Carson, he talks about this a lot, seasonalities, right? A lot of positioning into the summer, driven through option flows, is really, really centered around positioning. And so we're seeing a lot of that. I don't think it's going to get any better until after all these mega caps report. And if you, I mean, look at the reaction from Google, right? We're seeing all these signs that you need to hold off on momentum trades, at least on a multi-day perspective. Look at Google. They beat CapEx. We saw Marvell and all those guys pop after hours, but then they still sold off. And then they opened lower and continued to sell off. So it's really concerning that you're seeing a lot of this good news for these different picks and shovels, and yet it's not going up. So this is just a more mature portion of the cycle, and that's how I'm kind of just hands off for a lot of these days and just really picking, being extra super picky on what I trade.
So yeah, I mean, it makes sense if it's not giving you those trends and you're looking a little bit more swing, or you want those longer duration moves. Is this something where you could pivot? And we said this morning when the market was looking down. Well, sometimes on down days like today, you better go find a small capper if you want to go long something. Is this something that we can look to? I mean, we're going to have a change of the rule for delisting and how that goes for companies under 5 million. In market cap, and sometimes those kind of shenanigans can lead to a bit more explosive moves. Is there a pivot to somewhere else if you don't want to be looking at the large cap name, maybe mid cap, maybe small cap, or is that just completely not in the radar?
I mean, this is such a great question. It kind of ties into what you guys were talking about earlier. I saw you were looking at PABS and things like that.
Yeah.
So if you want to share my screen right here, this is the implied correlation chart, and this is kind of the basis of how you guys, or at least I think, in my opinion, you guys should be thinking about the markets moving forward. Right now, we're at record low implied correlations. What does this mean? It means that the index is so compressed, the range is so compressed, it's not moving, and yet all single stocks are moving way more. So when you compress a big index, something like S&P complex, then you have to, well, something has to go up, right? Because the index is all trapped because of this insane market positioning of options, just tying everything down. And we see that with the VIX being just compressed below 18, below 20 for so long, even going as low as like almost 14 recently. That idea, because of market correlation being so low, single stocks volatility is expanding. And with this becomes a super important thing, which is, yes, absolutely, we should be looking a lot more to small caps, because in this time when single stock vol is increasing, yes, small caps don't have options, but it pushes a lot of flows, investors' minds outside of it. Think logically, even at you at home. You check NASDAQ, and you're like, dang, NASDAQ is doing absolutely nothing. I better go do what? Well, you go and look at individual stocks. You go look at what is moving. And those are oftentimes the kind of small caps and things like this. And this is the kind of data that I kind of look at on a week-to-week basis. to kind of gauge, finger on the pulse, how a small cap market is doing. And so just in the last week, if you compare 710 through 716 to 716 to 722 now, you can see there's just so many more low floats popping. Not only, over 48%, almost 50% of every gapper over 30% is breaking into a new high a day after 11 a.m. And so that's telling you this cycle is kind of hot, and you want to keep playing these names like PABS Long. You want to keep playing CPHI. You want to keep playing ZYBT the other day. If you guys saw those like 8 limits in a row, we're seeing this, and it's not a coincidence when this dispersion is this high.
Yeah, and I just want to remind everybody, when you're playing these types of names, if you ever are going to be holding these small cappers, especially micro caps, overnight, just do like 5 minutes of work to know whether or not they have already filed for an offering and can drop that on your head at any moment, because overnight you can get burned. The intraday moves are obviously fantastic. I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second, because let's ask you something you're probably not prepared for. I don't know, maybe you are. Obviously, not too good of a day for Tesla, not too great of a day for Alphabet either. You got to pick one of these up, right? Based on where you think we're at with the large cap names, gun to your head, you got to buy one of these. Which one is it going to be? Maybe if there's a reason for it, technical or fundamental, either one doesn't really matter. What are your thoughts? Because those are the big two everyone wants to talk about.
I mean, Google and Tesla, two names. A lot of people are going to be talking about this. Now, I'll first talk about SpaceX real quick. SpaceX, there's a few key dates you guys need to kind of look for. Obviously, August 4th being their earnings release, and then the lockup, or unlock rather, being August 6th. Now, this is something that you guys should know by now, but the IPO cycle, right? When an IPO happens, oftentimes you get the first leg up. I mean, you see this with virtually every IPO. First leg up, down through IPO price, and then you have a multi-year base below IPO price, and then eventually in the future, that's when you go up. I don't see a reason why SpaceX right now would go up. They're spending an insane amount of money. They're seeing no return on their cash. And it's not to say this isn't a good long-term hold. All it is mechanics. We are in a phase where this company went to public markets to gain funding. They got funding, and now they're going to take a pretty long time to make that funding worth it to investors enough to buy it back above IPO price. So to me, if I had to lean one way or the other, it would be Google, just because they are more invested in the kind of AI thesis right now. SpaceX is more of a robotics play, more of a space play, more of a data center, futuristic, Minecraft on Mars kind of play. So that's something that just needs time. It's just mechanics of the market.
What's wrong with Minecraft?
Yeah, right. Let's go to Mars and build our first little wood house for the night. And yeah, so that's anyway. That's only the young guys in chat will get it.
I love Minecraft's a great game. I feel like anytime my daughter's playing that, I'm like, hey, good. Like, she's expressing her creativity. She's like building multiple worlds. Like, yeah, I'm not hating on Minecraft one bit. But here, well, let's fast forward to obviously we have a long earnings cycle here to get through. Coming up at the end of that earnings cycle, what was one of the better performing stocks, I know Sean will be able to say this with experience, was NVIDIA today. Sorry, I have Intel up because the president mentioned Intel. Forget about my chart. NVIDIA was relatively strong. What do we think about names that in the AI play, like I'll use NVIDIA and just say another Broadcom, where they've pulled back, and now in this weird cycle we're in, they become value relative to the rest of the market. What are I know sometimes we talk a little bit about technicals, but when you have major players here that are priced pretty cheaply relative to the S&P and to the NASDAQ, does that appeal change your approach toward them or your attitude towards them, even though you want to be like this kind of big cap tech off?
Yeah, so that's super interesting. This is, and I can't stress this enough, this market is all positioning based. And so, just a few months ago, if we go back to, even think May, even think April, when the markets bottomed from the Trump kind of peace deal, the ceasefire, we saw everything, and I mean everything, start to break out. You could buy a high, hold it for 6 days, and you double your money in something. Look at ARM, look at SNDK, look at all these guys making this huge leg higher. We just aren't in that market right now. And so as far as valuations, you have to be so careful because look at this chart right here. We are at some of the cheapest valuations we've been at since April relative to the average. And yet we're seeing not really that good of bounces. Everyone in the fundamental crowd is saying, hey, these are cheaper prices, you guys should all be buying. But that's typically when these valuations compress, is when you go backside of a cycle. And so this is a great chart I saw on Twitter. It was relating to Crocs, and this kind of shows that. So cheap valuations, don't necessarily listen to everyone as far as a micro view. It's not necessarily a buy. And so what's super interesting is moving in the forward, yes, earnings are going to be a positioning play. The names that get smoked the most, like IBM, even now, we just saw it report and now it's selling off again. These are great technical levels to sell through on market weakness. Nobody wants software. And so the idea is keep shorting until somebody wants software. And that's not going to be for probably a while.
We wanted to, thanks for all that. I mean, tons of information there. We used to have you on a while ago, and a thing that I was always interested was put call ratios and things like that. And you used to have some ideas, and I remember some of them, were absolutely great. Give us some ideas about, where potentially a stock may be going, where some support and resistance are. Are you still doing anything in that realm? And if you are, maybe is there anything that's interesting right now? And you just talked about Crocs, so that's one name there. But is there anything else that's maybe catching your attention now, if you're still doing put call walls?
Yeah, so that's super interesting. As far as the options positioning, the implied correlations are the chart that I just shared is probably the biggest metric to look at as far as the options market right now. Having such big dispersion, and when I say dispersion, that is just meaning that the index volatility is really, really compressed, and then all the single stock volatility is expanding. And so that is probably the biggest idea, in that we are in such a fragile positioning market right now that if we actually do see some major material kind of news out of Iran, and beyond just strikes, but something legit like nuclear power plant strikes, things like that, that is really where you want to start to bet on correlation happening again. And that's when you'll see huge pull-ins on the index, huge pull-ins on every other name, and that goes into the kind of downward, take the elevator down market, where you can wake up one day and see Qs down 2%, 3%, and that's kind of the idea there. What I've been doing, since this is a positioning market, and I will kind of, I guess if you guys want to show this real quick, this is kind of a tool I actually built with a few of my friends, and a buddy who helped me, and this is basically my big focus over the last few weeks has been positioning. And so this tool I just built, I'm not going to necessarily plug it all that much, but it basically looks at bar-to-bar option flows on names, and it ranks them against historical readings. And so how this helps me a lot is I'm able to see names such as SMCI yesterday that had massive news, right? We had that kind of pre-release of earnings, and each kind of candle we saw on SMCI, you can kind of see that it was outlier historical flows within the 100 percentile. And if you guys kind of look down here at net flows, this was unlike any other day we have seen on SMCI in so long. And how does that give me edge? How does that give me a trade? Well, when you have insanely high, historically significant flows bar by bar on the options market maker who is then short that gamma has to buy as it goes higher. So that's the kind of positioning that I look for to really justify momentum in this market. If I'm buying a high and I don't see those flows, the odds are I buy the high and I sell the low, as many traders have probably been experiencing, including myself, on some of these low flows recently.
Yeah, buying the high and selling the low tends to be what I tend to do. Often.
Watch out for that.
Andrew, thanks again for coming through with us one more time and sharing all that information. We have it written on the bottom there where people can find you at Raider Trader, at Raider Trader 101 on X, and the other one on Instagram. Anything else you're working on? I mean, I know you're looking to sort of get the Raider Report, the name out there. I guess they can follow you at these accounts. Explain what the Raider Report is, and then we'll get you out of here.
Yeah, cool. So I trade professionally for a living. I'm really lucky to do it. I'm at a great firm, and they're lucky enough to kind of help me and prosper as a trader and do my best, and that's my main focus in life. But a side hobby of mine is ultimately kind of sharing my research, sharing my data behind why I'm thinking what I am, and as I develop as a trader professionally, and of course, I am only 22, but where I am right now in my career, I feel that I can do that. It's a report every week, along with some other tools that I've all built myself to help myself trade. So it originally started as just something to help me trade, and then I opted to share it. And of course, I get the privilege to come on with some of the most handsome traders that look Max every day on live TV, and
Yeah, we're trying to look smacks every day. Yeah, I mean,
clearly.
I have that.
would
You know, I've
recommend.
hit myself.
I
in
would
the
recommend
face.
the bone chiseling of
Right.
the dog eyes every night.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
So-
Yeah. So if I come in with a couple black eyes, it's because I nailed myself in the face
That's
with a
what it
hammer.
is. That's what it is.
And
Yeah,
tried
that's exactly
to
what
get
that
going
was.
there.
Yep.
But yeah, well, we're double your age, and we are a pleasure to have you on with us.
And then some.
As many times as we can. Thank you, Andrew Rader from the Rader Report, and obviously a trader on his own accord as well. So thank you, Andrew, and we'll look forward to
Yep.
having you back soon.
Take care, Andrew.
Shout out you guys. See you
Ciao.
soon. Bye.
Peace. All righty then. Yeah.
Double and then
it's-
some, man.
It's always nice to have
Yeah, of course,
a little bit
always
of that Ute on our show there. And, you know,
The Ute
of course, we got Sia in there behind us, Adara, all these young guns these days, you know. But, yeah, very smart
Speaking
kid.
of-
It's always awesome to see that. And, you know, the passion, right? I mean, that's all you really want. No
Loves what
matter
he
what
does.
your career is, you want to be able to be passionate about it. And it feels like Andrew is exactly that. And with something for us, who's waiting patiently during that segment. We got a lot to talk about, I feel, with the president. There never is a dull moment. Let's go over and see what Sia's up to.
So honestly, we don't have that much to discuss because the president is talking, but there's not anything noteworthy going on over here. But there are a couple comments that I am going to mention here. USO has been sliding to the downside. It's climbing a little bit right now, but it has settled somewhere around, for the past couple minutes, at 140.41 at the moment. So US President Donald Trump saying, he also was hailing, I just want to mention this ticker over here, INTC, Intel's U.S. investment, highlighting a push to strengthen domestic semiconductor manufacturing. And then we also had a news about SMCI, stock that dip was not looking that great right now. It tried to reverse its losses a little bit. It is still up over 1.5% on the day, but SMCI has introduced a new server portfolio with 6th gen AMD EPYC 9006 CPUs, delivering 1.7 times the generational performance improvements. So that's news on SMCI over here. And finally, we're also going to take a look at USO again one more time. U.S. forces have reported that they've redirected 12 commercial vessels and disabled 1 ship since resuming the attacks, the Iran naval blockade 9 days ago, aimed at preventing maritime traffic and also from Iranian ports and coastal areas. So with that, you also have, again, USO still up on the day, over 6.5%, settling around $140 right now. The SPY on the day, 1.3%.
Thank you, Lucia. And, well, you know that the government's got a vested interest in tonight. And that 12 or 11.5 to 12% going to the upside on Intel, they got to hope for. Well, if it's going to do that, it is going to have to break this 100 level, which the president mentioned Intel. Nothing too crazy, it doesn't seem, because I didn't see anything really hit the wires. But look at what is happening today at 100. You think I know it's psychological, obviously, right? It's psychological. It's going to be a big options level for all the obvious reasons. It's the low in the morning. It's the low at 11 o'clock, 11:12, whatever, doesn't really matter. It's a flat bottom break. And now, since we've started the afternoon show and since the president started talking, it has tagged it twice and rejected at just above, maybe 5 to 10 cents above that $100 level. So you got to wonder. We've seen rallies or even tankage. Here's trying to go again. If it closes above, this feels maybe a scalp long rally into the close kind of deal for Intel. They're only down 2.5 points today. I say only because there's a heck of a lot that's looking worse than this. So it's got a little bit of sizzle on it. It hasn't even come back to Monday's lows. So you get a trend break, you close above that 100, and even as I say that, I guess it doesn't want to do that on the 3-minute. It's about to wick this level again. I want to see it close above $100, open another 3-minute candle above, and that can give you that maybe early look into those earnings, which we've seen these big time rallies one way or the other. It's not indicative of what's going to happen. It doesn't really make a difference what's happening before. Just have a look at IBM. IBM was trending down. It was actually a flush going into the imbalances, then a late rally, and then it flushed again. And then all of a sudden that one went gangbusters. But we have seen sometimes you can break that trend going into earnings, which this did not. You'll see a bit of a relief rally as the shorts try to cover, which is what they got to do. Let's throw up the super chat here. We got one from Chris.
Yeah,
I don't know if we missed.
Just hit.
Okay, good. Chris Landrum, thank you very much. Don't forget the Starship launch in 4 hours, maybe why we were seeing strength in SpaceX. I mean, it might be, but
I think it just bounced.
is that just like, I'm not thinking that launches are that big of a deal. Delayed launches, unsuccessful launches, I think matter. Successful ones, at this point, the way this is priced, like, how is it not priced in? Like,
what the
that's like, I'm going to equate at these valuations, SpaceX and successful launches. That's like jumping on like the Maury Povich show and being like, man, I take care of my kids. See, I pay my child. Like, what do you want? We supposed to clap for that? That's what you're supposed to do. That's where the bar is at. So like, getting a successful launch, this valuation, like, no. Back when you were private and people were taking chances on you, different story, man. Or you're in like a Rocket Lab situation where you're not like making money. You're in a different place. Then you want to get credit for something like that. And I'm not saying successful launch isn't going to be good. I think more of this is, look at how bad this has been. $150 to $110 in a week and a half, maybe a little bit more than that. And what we're seeing here is some shorts covering on what has been a bit of a capitulation day. So, I don't know, that's not to crap on them. I guess I kind of did. And that kind of was, I guess I did crap on them there a little bit. But no, that's the expectation, man. Like, at this point, their expectations are a little lofty.
Be a successful launch.
Yeah, you better be successful.
What's up, Lindenmeyer here in the chat? And I don't know if I necessarily agree. I have to put it on here. I don't have the. No, you're just saying if it's a double launch. If they nail today, we are never seeing these levels again. I mean, this is a one-day move here on SpaceX. I don't think that necessarily we're never seeing what levels? These levels, 111? We can see that tomorrow. We can see that today again there. And I don't know if it's, I've been trying to short up here. I just got stopped out at 117.50 there, and I bought it back because we didn't go anywhere near, like I basically paid the high right there. It only went to 117.55. So I punched back in there, not until 30s. So yuck on that one. But the short was right here. So we lost about 20 cents there. And I don't really want to be scalping this, but I've sort of been talking about, scalping it as we've been doing this. So, a couple outs, but nothing to really write home about. Again, we're trading with under a unit, and it's, not a big trade over here, but, something to look at. And Raider Trader there was mentioning SMCI, and, what a day they had yesterday. That was an absolute monster. Was it 2 days ago? I think it must have been 2 days ago now. Monster move there up from that $24 level. They pre-reported there and gave us all the goods, right? The margins went from like 7 or 8% up to 15 to 17%. It was like almost a triple, definitely a double up there in the margins for SMCI. And they were like, hey, man, business is good. Margins are getting better. So come through. And the only problem is, it stopped here at the 200 period moving average, almost dead, right there today at $32. So yeah, it's a nice recovery. I mean, it went from 24 to 32. No one's going to complain about that. But, depending on where you're long, positioning is obviously very important. I feel like this is a level pretty key here. A lot of traders probably stuck between 30 to 33 here. And then, on that whoosh down, you had to have faith to get in there and try to buy some of this on the way back up. And by the time you maybe finally got on board with it, maybe you're long in here in the mid-20s and it pops higher and then gives you a huge out. But then the bag hold starts because you had 3 or 2 at least, huge days down that basically equated to wiping out everything on the way back up there in just 2 days. And then just like this, 1 or 2 days again wipes out this whole short that's been there for the month. So this is a very hard stock to hold, I feel like, in your own personal account because one day you're here, the next day you're there, very similar to this side of it. So I would say if you're looking at SMCI, and, we thank, again, Andrew for showing us some of those stats and some of those charts, showing the volume really starting to pick up there on SMCI and the calls, and we talked about the put call ratio there. But this little bottom there of 30, I think there might be a look, and that's coming in soon. So let's see if the buyers here, that I feel like this is, if I slapped a VWAP on this, I feel like we'd be somewhere around here with the average weight of average VWAP, volume weighted average price. Hello. We only say it about 1,400 times a day, but right into that level, I feel like is a good one. So we'll have to wait for 30 there on SMCI. It may come through today, but that's a good area there for some potential support on SMCI.
Shout out to Team Money there. I said I would start my position in SpaceX at 100 on IPO. So congratulations, because you're not in yet. But you know what? I mean, look, obviously it's a bit of a flex to say you were strong enough and smart enough to be patient enough to wait for 100. So you might be in at 100. But you know what? I've managed to nibble in around 25. So what's up with that? I got a better price. Unfortunately for me, the CDR, that works out to that 150 level we were talking about. So that ain't good at all.
That ain't a flex.
I'm joking around.
No, I know. Yeah.
The price doesn't matter about those. But yeah, patience has obviously been a virtue with this. And it's I'm not trying to dunk on SpaceX or anything, but man, this trend is absolutely insane. But to all of those that say I've heard a lot of this is the worst IPO of all time. And I'm beginning to understand why, like the context of why it is. And my response to that has been to bring up other charts. I can bring up Bullish, I can bring up Figma, I can bring up Rivian and all that stuff. But then when you do that, I'm reminded just how much bigger this one is. It's not, and it's true. It is the worst one, and it has nothing to do with the fact that there's a bunch of other ones that have been much worse percentage-wise, or just a lot nastier percentage-wise. None of those were $1 trillion market cap or even anywhere approaching it. So yeah, the perspective of that, like, that is right. And we should be looking at it from that standpoint. Sometimes like the trader looks at it and says, but all I care about is the percentage. But you can't even put these guys in the same bucket. From a notional value loss, nothing compares to this. It's in another stratosphere. Power hour just hit. Did I hear we're going to the desk? Yes, we are going to SIA. It's power hour.
Thank you so much. So U.S. President Donald Trump just concluded his remarks, but there are two remarks that I want to mention before we throw it back to the guys, saying that I'm going over now to talk about the Iran war. USO is dropping right now a little bit, settling around, dropping to 139.90 at the moment. He was also saying that Iran is not ready yet. U.S. making strong progress against Tehran.
Yeah, where is he speaking? He's speaking at the White House there? I don't know where.
I'm just looking at the TV.
But yeah, he's definitely speaking. I don't know if he's live right this second anymore or he's done with. But yeah, some interesting comments there. And we can check out, what's been happening there with USO. There's been some Iran talk and, you're trying to fade back out again. I mean, what a great day again for oil, and oil names up 6%. I mean, great run there, that you've seen here. And just like I thought it was too far, too fast this way, well, you made it all the way back right now. So good long take down and around there and a good nibble on, XOM or CVX or Occidental. And we saw SkyQ today as well moving around. We just got the most recent halting name. Oh, by the way, here we go again. Let's go. Yeah, so I was just talking a little bit about Mr. SpaceX. And there it goes right now down to the downside. Now goes SpaceX. So we got it again, baby. That's another one right there for you on SpaceX. So, we got stopped out 15, 20 cents, but then we put it right back, obviously, into our blotter and boom, jaga. There goes SpaceX to the downside. Can we repeat what we have done the last couple of days? Probably not. I think it's still above VWAP. I don't mind this $200 period mark right there again. But hey, look, I mean, you were just with me 2 seconds ago and I was talking about the short here and it's been working. I have no idea why it's dropping the way it is right there, but that was a big candle on some big volume and boom, right there. Nice move there on SpaceX. Look at that. Well, you take a look at that. Nice move to the downside there on SPCX. So we're just going to get some orders set up now to see where we're going to get our next bid. I have half of what we have left on, so pretty good. I will have a look there at 1580. So let's put a bid there. We always go a little bit ahead. So if we can go to 1590, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. So we'll do that right now and get ahead of the 200 period moving average. And then, like I said, I'm not smart enough to figure this all out. So I'm going to put a bid right here where the support is and around 15 and change. And then we'll work on it from there. Maybe a downside play. But we just got another piece out. So I've got 40% left of what we initially had. So playing with house money now. Remember, the stop here was a quarter away. So now it's okay. Let's go, man. The bear is now growling. There we go. About time. And now we get to the downside. We just got that fill, man. We just told you we put one at 1580. That's exactly what we get. We get 1590s right there on the way down. So booyaka. Nice move there for SpaceX as we get $1 plus in the money there. And this is it's not affecting the NVIDIA position. The market is right now, as that's just near lows right now. I really surprised that we still have a little ways to go in the NASDAQ. How much were we even down?
Well, we were down over 2%.
Oh, over 2%. Yeah, we're down 2% now.
2.6, I thought.
Yeah, maybe even more than that because
Was
that,
it more than 2.6?
Well, had to have been. I didn't even see this. This was when I wasn't here at 11:30. Wow, did we ever make that low?
I want to say 2.6.
Well, I mean, it might have been. Wow, like it's 2.3 now, and you still got a little bit of ways to go here. But yeah, we're just,
You know what it is affecting though? Probably Rocket Labs, and it's definitely affecting ASTS. It's affecting ASTS as well. So it's going to drag all of these names with it. But one name, and I just double checked, why did HIMS just do what it did?
okay.
I didn't see anything. At 12, you did, like there's a story here where the FDA voted to place BPC 157 peptide on the allowed pharmacy compounding list. And then there was like a reaction of stock was crazy to the upside. And then HIMS started giving up the move. And I suppose this could just be a flat bottom break, and then it just gave up the rest of the move. But I don't think anything new just happened on HIMS. That is nasty. How are you supposed to like a stock? It gets positive news in the middle of the day, looks strong relative to the market, and proceeds to rug everybody this badly. Like it just dropped $2 to come all the way back after it had gone up $4 to come all the way back. Nasty stuff with HIMS. It's almost like widow making. And then overall, the stock is doing, look at the chart's doing nothing for the last week, and then just goes ham, and now it's right back, just rinsing you back and forth in the same range. But it's crazy on HIMS. Fedora, thank you for that. Martin Shkreli apparently tweeted that he is short about an hour ago. I don't follow.
What? Oh, HIMS?
Okay, I don't follow Martin Shkreli, so there you go. Like that could be, maybe that's the reason. So this tanked because Shkreli made a tweet?
Maybe. I mean,
do you, Martin?
But
although I'll tell you right now, if he tweeted, and I don't know where he might be short, usually if you're speculating, at the point someone discloses a short, I always look back and say, okay, where is the point that they liked it? So shorting the move up, and then maybe like this pull into the lower high. Like if I was a guessing man, I don't know, maybe he says where he gets in. Most short sellers, the public short seller report guys, like they don't really say where they got in oftentimes. Maybe he did. I have no idea. I haven't seen it. I would guess like just this pop 36 into the high. So you always want to watch out when people do this, whether it's Citron or whomever it might be, or in this case, Shkreli. You look to those levels to see if they had a little more juice if it gets back there for potential squeeze. Like it was obvious where Lucid people might have gotten short because you saw where the sellers were on the bankruptcy day. You got to kind of guess here with Shkreli unless he told people.
Well, yeah.
And I have no opinion on him one way or another. So
I mean, convicted felon Martin Shkreli, definitely someone that you guys should follow for your financial advice. All right, Micron right here, just giving you another look potentially at 980. I mean, it's 979, but nice move down here for Micron. That's now took out 990 back into 980. Good opportunity here for a break lower. I'm not thinking of a long in Micron here. I'm just going to try to show everybody that if you are short, which I saw some talk there in the chat, and welcome to everybody that's here right now. It's been an awesome ride, and we want to thank everybody for joining us every single day. We're live at 8 a.m. See us filling in for Adarite. It's been awesome. And, we've been having some great days. And on the midday show, these guys had some nice bromances today as well, apparently. So that was fun. And we're just going to watch out for a 980 break. And when we get back, I'm going to do the roll call. So get ready. Get in the chat right now. About to shout you guys out. What's up, Sia?
Couple comments coming in from AMD CEO Lisa Su here. OpenAI has, quote unquote, bet big on AMD. This coming in the press conference, and CEO saying again that OpenAI deployment is currently on track.
All right. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if it's nice. I mean, obviously with OpenAI, they're going to be a big player moving forward, regardless of when and if when they IPO. I'm going to say you're going to need some public funding
next year.
That's for sure. And so we'll see when they do come through. But like we just said, let's go to the roll call. And Andre, why don't we try to blow this up a little bit and we'll say hi. You have probably a better look there. Or you can go to the screen in the back if you want. The screen is in the back, and that's awesome. But this is just as good. So, hey, let's say what's up to Daniel B900 there. Nice to see you there. B Cameron, what's going on? Moo Dancer says, let's go. Tesla time for Goro. There, I don't know what that. Remember that stock Goro we had?
Yep.
Yo, T Money, you're always here as well. Yeti, hey, there's Yeti 360. We like that, man. Have they found the Yetis yet? Are the Sasquatches still running around? We got to figure that out as well. What's up to Jaguar Nut? Hey, maybe there's something about Sasquatches in SpaceX. I mean, we got to see if there's something there. What's up to 420 Bud Monster?
I saw you purple drank.
Oh, you saw the purple drank there? Okay, yeah. Don't drink too much of that purple stuff right now. At least wait till you're, at home or maybe not in front of the keyboard where you do some damage. Hey, what's up there? Manny Olives there. Boat drinks. That's a good spot to drink that purple stuff on a boat right there. What's up to Jay Bronson, a former, member, has been here for a while, Jay Bronson. Save Man Woman. We believe in saving both of those. Jaw P, thank you so much. I Grow Fighting. That's always nice. Casey Mint is here as well. And then there's Dave Z Siamese is here. And, there we go. Honorable. Thank you so much for joining us from the lovely, it looks like Australia TikTok. Maybe, but he's also in TikTok there. And no, he was talking about gold there, sorry. So what's up to that? And we can have a quick little look at gold, and that, sort of completes roll call. We'll shout you guys out as much as we possibly can. I wanted to also just cover, I did punch back out of some more SpaceX there. So it did jump into the 200 period moving average. I mean, that is a definite, spot that to say that those are the ideas that I have, is watching out for the 200 period moving average. I got to get some new emoji things. But yeah, nice dip down right into 115.80 there. When it did not break, I took the opportunity to get more out at 116. So we're pretty light now on this trade. I'd give it probably 15% left. But that move down, like I'm never not, double negatives there, going to take out a bunch when you get a candle like we haven't really seen in a minute, right? So that was a nice flush down there. And, take advantage of that. We have a bunch of outs. Like we were sitting here right there, so we get run over. And all of these trades, remember, we're trading on a prop floor, and it is real trading. And we have to just tell you, we get paid, and so do many traders on prop floors. That's why we talked about professional versus amateur execution and retail, execution, not amateur. Retail will pretty much always pay for fills, whether or not you're paying for it through getting routed or whatever it is. There's always someone making money. I mean, Robinhood's not just going to say, hey, we'll just trade for you for free. There's always going to be something in behind there, and you guys can look that up. That's well documented. But we get bids and offers here. So if I'm just sitting, if I think this is going to make a move down, I could put a bid on NASDAQ or ARK or EdgeX, any of these lit gateways, pretty much any of them. And if it fills me, then you're going to get it. And it's a small fee. It can be, anywhere between $1.50 to just over $2 per 1,000 shares. And then they charge you, almost double that to go ahead and remove liquidity, meaning like if I want this price and I just buy it right there, I'm paying that price per 1,000 shares. So there are advantages and disadvantages, to prop trading and some of the fees that are associated with it, but definitely managing your fees can make a world of difference if you're able to do that. So, that's when this is coming in, like I get paid for this. All of these trades we're getting paid for. I actually paid for this one because when it was breaking back above 116, I punched out there and got 116.06 or whatever. So, but yeah, that's how we sort of manage our fees. So when you're seeing me go through like today on SpaceX, I have 60 fills. If I'm paying $10 or $5 a fill, I mean, that's going to be too much money. That eats into a huge percentage of your profits when you add it up at the end of the month. Daily, you might be like, I made $200 today on SpaceX and I only paid $30 in fees. That's not bad. But
over the course of a year,
my next example was going to be, what if tomorrow you pay the same $30, but you lose $100? Now you lost $130. So it adds
We had
up.
a dude. I don't know if you remember this guy, but I'll never forget. He was the I'm made for this.
Yeah.
You remember that guy? So we had this one trader. He went live the first day.
He was made for this.
And he was hot for he had a really hot 10 to 15 minutes on his first live day. And the whole time he's just sitting there and he's adding liquidity, he's getting fees and all this kind of stuff. He's like, boom, boom, boom. I'm made for this, all this kind of. But really what was happening was, I don't think he realized it. There was a lot of a gerrymandering in the first 10 to 15 minutes where he was just tossing the stock around up and down. Right. And he was just able to sort of bid and offer, getting rebates back and forth on the stock that wasn't moving. And then the second it started moving, he got shut down, and everyone kind of made fun of him for saying he was made for this. But in the time that it wasn't, he was just back and forth getting fees. Shout out to Ari Pages, and I love this because
you're telling me he was not made for this.
Well, he was not. He also thought that he weighed as much as I did, and the kid was 115 pounds soaking wet. And he was
150. No,
he was
more than that.
But remember he was dead ass serious. We're like, we need to get a scale in here. It's like, dude, I'm not a big guy, but
He was ripping phone books and everything as well.
it was crazy. But Ari Pages, shout out to you. Love Frex and Edge. Those are a couple of gateways that we can use. Yeah, I'm gonna assume that you're.
He is. Yeah, Ari Pages.
Ari Pages is from Real Trading.
Yeah. So I used Frex there. Which is
that's more of like a routing.
Fox River, I think it's called.
Yeah,
so they routed me out there at 116. So I use that. And what a routing key will do is hit anything here. Oh, there, did I just get another fill there? Yes, I did. So I just got another fill there at 116.10. So that's an example there where I was sitting there with, I forget, EdgeX Gateway and got a fill as it comes back in. So like that rate there, I just got paid for. Although we take it out, of course, but that's what that is. So we'll reassess some of the trading as we go along here throughout the day. But yeah, it's been a good one, and thank everybody again for watching us as we sit here just talking about kind of like the same old stocks there. But if there is anything else you guys want to talk about, we don't have any new halters. That NVVE right now is just kind of straight chilling. I looked at Micron for everybody, and I think as the market gets into those lows again, what a nasty day for the NASDAQ today, down 2.3%. I have something to tell everybody. I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. The NASDAQ is in a world of hurt because a great name like Google, where the only red that they had was potentially their EPS with a little slight miss. I think it was 285 versus 291 on their earnings per share. Search was okay. The cloud was better. I mean, we went over all their numbers. You can grab it in our watch list, yet the stock is still down 7%. Tesla, of course, had a little bit different issues there than Google. I don't think anybody's too worried about Tesla and what they might mean for the rest of the market because they're a very isolated stock. I mean, we know that. So I'm worried about Google because if they had a better cloud number and they had a lot of, positives going for them, including, like I just said, their search was actually a positive. YouTube was a positive number there. The Gmail, their C-suite, with Google has been absolutely incredible, and they can also implement Gemini into that as well. So I think a stock like a Microsoft, that's why today it's getting hit down that 2.4%. And the Microsoft hit helps into the NASDAQ, right? I mean, Google is actually weighted twice into the NASDAQ because there's GOOG as well, where you get the Class B shares, I think, there for Google. So, both of these names definitely weighing in on both the ES and the NASDAQ today. ES down 1.4, NASDAQ down 2.25. Yeah, not a great day as we sit here and
worse for Amazon.
And Amazon too. And we worry about now what is next for all of these names, right? And it's just like
Rug?
Rug is,
I don't think it's Rug, but
Rug. I mean, Rug means we're doing like the Hawk Tua coin and everything like that, where you're rugging people with all their money. I think a lot of these names are investable names. SMR, some of these other names, those ones, that were $14 a month ago and are $7 now, that's dropped in half.
Yeah.
If we get a Google cut in half based on that quarter, that seems to be a little dramatic. But we do have some news we got to cover with Sia. But just watching this, so my next bid, now we can just chill, right? We'll straight chill. Now we break below, and now we'll wait for 115.35. I believe we got to go to Sia, and if we do,
correct.
Then let's just go, Andre. It's small cap recap, my guy.
The IWM down 0.84% on the day. Let's look at three individual tickers right now. You have Domo, D-O-M-O. I'm just going to pull up the chart for you here. It's out 25.4% on the day. It'll be required to pay Progress Software a termination fee that is equal to $13.5 million if the company breaches the terms of the agreement. Now, what's happening is that Progress Software is buying Domo. So if Domo breaks this kind of contract, it'll have to pay a fee of $13.5 million. If the terms of agreement are breached, accepting a competing acquisition proposal, or if it experiences certain financial distress here. So that's the news over here. You have RELL over here, Richardson Electronics, that's up over 20% on the day. Q4 and first year 2026 outlook has also seen a robust revenue and margin growth besides Outlook 2. All business units and contributing record sales also soaring here, so not a bad look. GHASD is the final one. Sorry, wrong ticker over there. GSHD is what I was going for. Sorry, Goosehead Insurance over here. Maintained at section performed by RBC Capital. This ticker is up 4% on the day at the moment.
Stuff anymore.
Thank you there.
Yeah, there's. We were just talking about some of the names there over on the OTC markets. I was going to say the pink sheets, and we talked about some ADRs. I mean, this is where SK Hynix, before it was always on the Kospi, but there's Tencent, another Chinese name. As we get going, this is the name that Fabian has, KXIAY. That's a Japanese. I believe they are also. Where's company profile? Aren't they chips as well? Supervision Management Associate deals with memory storage business. So this is a good way of getting involved in names that potentially are. Why is this? What's going on here with this website over there? I'm going to go to current market and get a better summary there. So Rolls Royce is there as well. Different there's Adidas and different names. Roche, that's Roche there. Different holdings here, and I think it's a good way to play some of the Chinese names or some of the names that potentially, and you could sort it by share volume or dollars or percentage change. It's a pretty good website there to go have a look. And don't ever think that there's not opportunities to be made in some of these stocks as well. And they're huge moving over here. I mean, you talked about the new rule potentially coming in now. Well, the SEC passed it, so 5 million market cap. You got to get above that for that 30 days, or else you're gone. So this could be a good market to start looking at there in the OTC marketplace, especially if we do get some of those names bouncing around a little bit there. But I'm taking advantage of this bump up now on NVIDIA. Again, in the day that's, we talked a little bit about AMD today, and what Lisa Sue's been talking about, bless you, and good deals with OpenAI from AMD today. Good talk about some of the deals and the partners that the relationships, I guess, that they've created, and it doesn't look like it's doing much here, right? And so we do have to be careful with AMD, almost at AMC again, and where that's going. So right now, pretty flat. This is roughly, I got out 540. I got some out at 495. That turns out to be a brutal out. And then we got some out there yesterday at 544, which is pretty much right where it is right now. So we'll have to wait to see what AMD's in tune for on tonight's report with Intel.
Because that's the sympathy play. That's the biggest sympathy is obviously.
Yeah, I mean, with the PC game.
It's all about.
They're both going to be something going on there. So we'll see what Intel tonight.
Speaking of Intel tonight.
I think Intel beats. So.
Well, I'll get to it was execution. I just wanted to show you if I'm shorting VWAP because on ASTS because SpaceX was rolling over. Well, then when SpaceX double bottoms at 16, I just hopped out, and then it just seems like it's following it. So if I see this curl again at 117 and then get VWAP again, that's what I'm going to want to do. IBIT is sort of gently gliding down.
Oh, Dave is back. Here we go.
So it's very, very gently gliding down into the lows on IBIT. Even though I got out of it, that was one that was while Andrew was talking. It's a tight stop, but it got to VWAP and turn. The one that we're still in is SOFI, and that's sort of working its way down into the low of the day. But Dave, not a dumb trade of the day.
Got another dumb one over here.
It's just figure speech.
I didn't even
Dave never. I know you say it's dumb trade of the day, but that's just how you.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably making millions off.
Exactly. This. Dave's extreme dumb trade of the day. Extremely dumb trade of the day. Calls on Intel to swing. Yes. August 26th, call 120 times 5, 500. So Intel.
How much is that?
July 26th, call 110. July. Give yourself.
Not July the 26th.
July 26th. So like the end. It's like
the end of the month.
Week.
Okay, the end of the
month. Yeah, that's next week.
I thought it was meant that the date was July the 26th.
No, so that's pretty short dated. Well, you know what? Let's see what the chat feels about this. I was already doing this.
So Dave likes the long.
Oh no, and I just minimized.
I like the long. I mean, I just mentioned the long in Intel.
Let's try to get the pull up that I minimized by accident.
For you, Dave.
Okay, everybody, how do we feel about Intel tomorrow? I forgot a question mark, but you guys know what's a question by now. Hop in the chat. All you have to do is type a number. That's pretty simple. And then you hit enter. The other thing is you have to be in the chat first. So make sure you jump into the chat by hitting the subscribe button. Just do it now. Subscribe. 1, if you think Intel is a buy tonight. 2, if you think it is a sell. 3, if you think it is chop. And keep in mind with Intel, the expected move is 12%. So chop has a pretty wide range, traditionally speaking here. So let us know what you think.
You want to hear something? Over 12%.
So that's what I'm saying. Buy. If you're voting buy, in my opinion, you're voting over 12%. Intel did 22, I'll double check, 22 or 23%. last earnings season. Last earnings
I didn't know about that.
report. So it was double the expected move last time. So if you think that 12 is extreme, you have not been paying attention to Intel, basically. So right now we've got 47% sell. This is vastly different from some of our other polls. But then I guess now it's all one name here. When you were picking between the names, it was very distinctly Alphabet last night. This one's a little bit more like 50-50-ish. 38% buy, 47% sell, 15% chop. Would have expected maybe that would be a little bit higher with the chop.
Yeah, everyone's favorite analyst, Adara, has an Intel as a sell. So she would be voting for a 2 on that one.
That's right.
I would say I voted strongly for a 1. So I think Intel will beat. I mean, although we have to be a little nervous and a little cautious of the fact that our good friends over at Samsung and Taiwan Semi, all those names missed. Like Taiwan Semi, TSM, they got hit on their earnings as well. I don't know, actually. Little lazy of me. I haven't really been following Taiwan Semi at all, but yeah, they did not have a good move down into 400, but it is slightly being bought up. We did have Mitch Hoke from Trade the Pool on. He liked it at 430, and then it fell through there. I asked him about it, but he kind of was just saying like, have to wait on it, but what else is new? So down in there to 390, back up to 415, 420 again. So we'll see if TSM, but again, like just talking about some of the foundries and everything like that, Taiwan Semi going to the downside. I do think Intel, they've got not about the government or anything like that, but they do have some decent opportunities to catch some windfalls. And we just heard about the talk about the CPUs, and a name that I really like that's been getting hit recently. I'm not in this name, but I thought I liked it, and I picked Qualcomm. I think Qualcomm is going to be a beneficiary again of Intel, especially if the PC game starts to pick up a bit. But yeah, Corning is at a decent level right now as well. I don't know when Corning reports, but this is one where we talked about, Joe was talking about this earlier, about the difference between the glass and the copper. So Corning there with the Gorilla Glass.
5 days.
Oh, in 5 days. Okay, so there you go. Might be a little too early to make a decision.
Tuesday after the. Oh, sorry, no, check that. Tuesday before the bell. Tuesday before the bell.
For a tech name. Okay.
Tech name should always report after the bell. That should forget about this reporting biannually. Just make sure that all of the good tech names or all of the major earnings happen after the bell, not before. It's much.
Yeah, that's surprising. I mean, normally you get some of these names, and again, a lot of the tech names. The reason why they started reporting all after the bell is because in San Francisco, right? I mean, a lot of these California-based names reporting afterwards, because otherwise, it's too early in the morning if they're reporting there. It's like 6 a.m. reporting.
Waking up.
Drop it at 9 a.m. or something. But yeah, there's no problem nowadays. Whatever, man. People are awake at all times, all types of hours these days. Especially trading Blue Ocean, you could be awake all night if you wanted to. All right, let's go back over, see what's on your mind back there.
It is Sector Watch time for the final time in today's trading day. So we had the SPY that opened at $739.3 at 9:30 a.m. this morning. It's currently sitting at $737.73, down on the day, still 1.29%. Let's take a look at what's going on with these markets and if some name has come up from the lows at all. We have NVIDIA in electric tech still down almost 2% on the day. Apple down 1.5%. You have AVGO down 1.3%. Micron holding a little bit of a bullish momentum from earlier in the day. It's up 3%. You have AMD and INTC continuing to slide a little bit here. AMD is down 2.2%. INTC is reporting after the bell. So that poll showed us a lot about how you feel about INTC over there. Cisco trading flat. GE up 2%, TXN down 3.4%. SNDK, ANET, STX are also up on the day. We have KLAC up 1%. Dell has just turned down. It's down 1%. RTX still holding momentum, up 7%. Tech services, you have Google having a bad day today, along with Tesla. Both the pairs having a bad day today. Tesla's down 14% on the day. Google's down 7%. Meta's down 3%. Microsoft is down 2.2%. Oracle is down 4.5%. There's just everywhere you look, there is bearishness today. Palantir is also down 1.6%. What isn't bearish today is health tech. Health tech is not bearish today, is what I'm seeing here. Lilly, J&J up on the day, over 1%. Lilly's close to 2% today. ABBV is up exactly 1%. MRK up 2.22% to be precise. Finance, you have a bit of flat sentiment between Citi, WFC, BRKB, JPM, and BAC. Visa, MasterCard still down on the day, inching closer to 8%, I would say, for Visa. MasterCard down 0.70%. MS down 1.3% here as well, and Robinhood down 2.2%. In retail trade, we have Amazon down over 4.5%, Walmart down 1%, Home Depot down 1.9, almost 2% on the day, and Costco is flat now. It seems to have reversed its losses a little bit, not a bad look. TJX down 1.6% right now. Producer manufacturing, you have AMAT, CAT, and GEV continuing to be a little bit of bulls of the day in that sector. Large CX, however, trading flat at the moment. Energy minerals, all the energy names, almost all the energy names are in the green. 4 names in the red: VLO, PSX, EXE, EQT, and MPC. 5 names, I apologize. XOM and CVX up over 1%. XOM inching closer to 2% right now. Utilities, we have names like NEE that's up, inching closer to 1%. SO up 0.74%. And PCG that's down 3% on the day. Communication, you have TMA sliding further into the downside. It's down 9% on the day at the moment. You have consumer non-durables, consumer services, and process industries is a mixed bag, but there is a lot of bearishness sentiment that I'm seeing across these 3 sectors, whereas industrial sectors as well as commercial services are a bit of a mixed bag of a lot of green, red, and gray over here. CRL, however, in this sector, up very close to 4% on the day. Finally, we have distribution and transportation, whereas transportation, better look amongst the 3 names: UNP up 4%, CSX up 6%, and NSC up 4.5%, with Uber sliding to the downside 2.3%, and FedEx down close to 2% on the day.
All right. I mean, I was just saying, that was quite the review there. A lot of names to cover, and thanks, Sia, for all that. I mean, we need to know. Well, I'm saying that was good. I mean, I think you did good there, covering a lot of different bases
It's
there.
thorough is the word.
Yeah, I mean, people like, when else do we ever talk about FedEx? Oh, God, Joe's back over here. Okay, here we go, man. Captain Giggles over here. There we go. There, tarps.
Showing off the
He's just
gun.
waiting for the tarps off moment. He can run around downtown.
It's not
there,
happening.
get some ladies chasing him and whatnot. All right, it's going to be potentially a day low break on Tesla. I mean, the market has bounced back up, and Tesla right now, I hope we don't break that low, and I think that if you're able to hold, we could look at back at this tomorrow in and around the 320, 318.50 or so marker there for TSLA. So that would be another look right there, And as we said, I couldn't support trying to go long. Man, it can't even come over here for more than a minute, I noticed, especially when we have such great talent sitting there right behind us. But at the end of the day here, yeah, Tesla, I couldn't support it there. I'm sorry, people probably were thinking about the long. I said maybe there's a short here at the 200 period, under view up, under everything, under, and it's going under the day's low, I think here, especially if this market does somehow, keep going where it's going here into the close. So yeah, a little nervous about Tesla. I hope it goes higher. Obviously, a shareholder there in TSLA, we're hoping for the best, but it is a downside kick right now for Tesla, down 15%. Like, wow, their expected move was only 5.5, 6%. It was right there beside Google yesterday for an implied move. It was Tesla, but we talked about the talent, and you're about to see it again back over there at the big desk. It's one with Sia.
Asian markets with one at 3:30 p.m. He's back, and he's going to talk you through the Asian markets and what's going on right now.
Thank you, Sia. You know that saying, another man's trash is one man's treasure?
Yes.
All right. Even though US right now ain't looking so good, overnight in Asia, everyone's in the green. I mean, after Google Alphabet's $15 billion CapEx boost, that pretty much sparked a huge Asia tech rally. We saw tech markets experiencing a lot of major short squeezes. This cash injection reversed basically all the hardware de-risking that they've experienced throughout the week. A lot of memory and manufacturing sectors boosted across South Korea, Japan, Taiwan. I mean, Kospi, they're back up above the 7,000 threshold. All that from memory accumulation. We saw both Samsung and SK Hynix up by around 4% each. Even in Japan, the Nikkei 225, a lot of powerful bids in electronics and advanced tool makers easily offsetting that of geopolitical shipping frictions. Advantes, one of the big names there, up by around 4.1%. Even Taiwan, their fiber networks and liquid cooling modules, they caught a massive bid. AVC up by 8%. But we should be focusing a lot more on the open for the Asian markets now, especially after what's happening here in the US. It's definitely going to affect the open in Asia. Check out that the velocity for Kospi at 7,000, especially the morning turnover. After today's short covering surge, watch if any global portfolios inject long-term capital into memory names or if the markets immediately take profits after yesterday's short squeeze. Japan's news, we've got June consumer inflation reports coming in tomorrow. So that's going to be giving Bank of Japan some further clues on their policy outlook. So keep an eye out on that. And in China, onshore China's tech rotations, monitor that early trading in Shanghai. We saw overnight that the stock composite was down by 2.6%. But despite the wider market gains, watch if there's any localized de-risking, if that expands, or if the People's Bank of China gives a little bit of a cushion in terms of liquidity. Over in India, the 23,800 line is the defense right there. There's a lot of escalating foreign funds outflows as well as oil inflation fears in the region. That could trigger a clean break below 23,800, and it might rapidly go down towards 23,500. So watch out in India, especially with all the geopolitics happening in the Middle East.
Absolutely, lots of geopolitics there, and also with the Indian rupee inching closer to 97 a dollar. So that's what's going on. Thank you so much, Juan, for that rundown. Sending it right back.
Thank you, Sia.
All right, there it is.
Look, I think the Kospi's giving it up overnight. I'll show you why in a quick little second. But maybe the last one till the imbalances. SOFI will take our first real red one of the day as it breaks the volume weighted average price. So it's kind of getting back into the upside here. Probably could have scalped it more, but I wanted that LOD. But I think, look, I got to go to a 15-minute for SK Hynix. SKHY. I always say it out loud because it helps me not to bungle the typing. If you look at what is it's a 2.6% update today. SK Hynix, great, it's up. That kind of belies what really happened.
You don't sound that impressed.
I'm not impressed. That's the whole point.
Just want to make sure.
Like when this was that buy program day on the 14th, and then the following day we had Dumpsville. When it settled down, where did it settle to? Settled to $180. So we get an update today that kind of double taps in front of 180. And on a single candle up, completely rejects and puts in lower highs. So unless something from the Intel call, because remember, there's some speculation between Intel and SK Hynix here. If that gets, maybe that can be confirmed or a strong day from Intel, that could turn things around here. But on its own, assuming no help from any outside sources, that's a monster level it rejected to kind of trick everybody into a consolidated day over the prior high. If the opposite happens, see that prior high, like 169, 168 where we're looking at? I look at that false breakout today, and if you end up underneath the range, SK Hynix, then there's room to 164 and then the 160 low. So I kind of feel like my default is to look for that with the false break, assuming, of course, it ends up closing underneath this 172 level. And then I'll think of this like here's the kind of the example I'm looking at. Like when you reject a big blowout top level and then you end up holding the downward trend, when you resist underneath it, you kind of go gap to gap. Why is Lucid coming back to the upside, actually? What's going on? It's silly
Lucid?
I wasn't really paying attention to it, but I was using the example. Then I think you fill in the other part of the gap, which is there. It's more clean on Lucid because, well, it happens with Asian stocks. Like you'll get more crazy gapping around and noise because you've got 2 sessions that you have to deal with. So there's more crazy stuff happening overnight. So it'll gap around more, but you have to read between the tea leaves to look at some of the levels there. And yeah, Lucid has no business bouncing 5% at the open or at the close here. But yet for some reason, it is actually doing it. Tesla still stinks, last I checked. And that was dragging it down. Sympathy play there. I bet you Rivian's still trend down because Tesla's at the lows. See? Mm-hmm. Rivian's at the lows. Tesla's at the lows, right? Tesla's literally breaking the lows. Why is Lucid bouncing?
Told you Tesla we're going to break those lows.
It did just break, broke low of the day just now.
Oh, Tesla, yeah. Well, I mean, hey, man, we just talked about Tesla breaking into those lows, and I was, basically nailed it on that one as it does break lower. And yeah, I was already apologizing to people before it happened. We were just right here and I was like, you know what, this doesn't look great. And there it goes again, Tesla breaking lower and lower and lower. And I just took the opportunity right there as well. I mean, NVIDIA's been my, trade of the day. I mean, I feel like we did do quite well on this. We found the bottom. I mean, it took a minute, right? And I'm really trying to get better at not pushing size through the first little while, and then we did have some size here and that was 1030, tried to get back up to the upside, thought we had maybe found a little bit of a bottom there in and around 208, but the market was just pushing harder down into the downside and we wound up, obviously getting hit there, took another shot at NVIDIA into here, made some money back. This was actually fine. We were just going back and forth with it there. And then eventually we were just, again, pretty lucky to find that 206 level. And it was nothing other than watching the futures and trying to see if there was some bounce back potential, right? I mean, these are the levels that we were sort of looking at, 206.50. This goes into yesterday. And then there's the bounce through and we're able to hold it and get a lot, like the majority of the position out up here. And then it's just been bleeding all afternoon. So we don't have very much left on that one. But we do have, we just talked about that with Tesla breaking lower as Joe comes back in and sees that one. But SpaceX back into 116. So this one going clubbing as well. Of course, the wife and I are done with our clubbing days. We are getting excited. We're messaging each other right now. We cannot wait. There's 20 minutes left. And then we get to get ready for our dinner date. And it will be Italian food. Her favorite dish is gnocchi. So she'll be having some of that tonight. I will not be revealing where we're going because then Joe will show up there. You
already gave a general.
Yeah,
We'll
be in Little Italy, and but me running around with a bunch of other Italians, maybe who knows?
Blend in.
So you may not be able to see me
disappear
there, but we will be there tonight, and it should be a fun one. So we're excited for that one on a Thursday night. Was at the baseball game last night, and tonight's that, and then I don't even know what we're doing tomorrow, but we got to go get the kids on Saturday. Relatively early. I think we leave here at 7:30 or so Saturday to go get them. So that should be a fun one.
That's not so bad.
Yeah.
7:30 is not.
No, 7:30 is fine.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I'll take that.
I mean, that's when normally Joe gets home from the clubs.
Well, I mean, look, the young bloods, you know what they have to do.
Him and Raider Trader are going to be.
Got to do their thing. Maybe Joe can actually turn Chipotle around. After what happened.
Get a bowl, or what is he going to salad?
Well, remember they had the drop yesterday because of.
Yeah, that's risky. I would not trust anything in the restaurant space.
Yeah, they say the drop.
Fabian,
what's the name of that? The SIO, whatever the heck it's called.
The earnings calendar's in the background.
Oh shit! I love that. Zoom in on this.
Okay. Can we get a better zoom in on that?
No, zoom closer on the current day. Can we do that?
I can. It'd almost be better if you just had today. And maybe tomorrow. Only 2 days on there. That was great. There it is.
Fantastic.
Okay, there we go. Now we have it on the big board there. Oh, you even have what? Those are expected EPSs? What do you have beside that? Oh, he thinks so. Okay, yeah, maybe that is what it is then right there. Yeah, okay, yeah. Tesla expecting 54 cents. Yeah,
that's right.
That was about right.
That's right.
Google 291. That's right. They got 285. So, yeah, these are expected.
Yeah, Newmont's expecting $2.
So you can see right there today, Intel looking at 22 cents aftermarket, SAP, Newmont. Okay, is that Raytheon is maybe into Thermo Fisher there tonight as well. T-Mobile as we get going. So yeah, that's awesome. Honeywell there. Yeah, that was fantastic.
If we just only one thing here.
Maybe now's the time to ask for a raise.
We do know that LMT, that we already know that was this morning.
No, actually.
But no, that looks fantastic.
Yeah, that looks fantastic, man. I think that's very awesome. And yeah.
We're gonna make it expand to see the day up.
Yeah.
This is for like just a week.
Yeah, this is a work in progress, man. That looks awesome.
Good stuff.
Great job there. Yeah, we are continuously improving the show, and we want to thank individuals like Fabian over there that's working on all the graphics and the sound effects and whatnot, things like that. So we want to say thank you to all the team members that we have here. What a great job people are doing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's awesome, man. I think I've set the world on fire here with this gnocchi comment in the chat. So people loving that, of course, made with potato.
It is gnocchi is delicious. I'm not gonna lie. Favorite dish?
Yeah, don't lie. Don't lie.
No, I mean, look, I'm not the person that's ever gonna throw shade on quality food. I'll leave that to other people because, like I already said, like sometimes carbs can be the most delicious thing you ever find.
Carbs.
Out there. No, we said this
no,
morning
I
already.
know. I don't want.
But I wanted to make sure, like, I wasn't randomly bringing up Chipotle. I was about to show. It's 3:43.
Yeah, let's go.
Usually, I would
didn't
have
even realize
given you
how
the
late it
early
is.
look, so I'm not taking anything else unless it's the backside of the imbalances. And Chipotle has a rather large buy imbalance. I was joking about the drop they had yesterday. They got kind of rugged yesterday on Chipotle. Speculation that was because of that new outbreak. The name I don't remember. You can look it up. And then PCG, so sell of 4.7 million early look sell on PCG, SPG&E obviously. In Chipotle, 3.7 million to the buy side. You've got GM with an early look, 1.5 million buy. You've got NU, 1.25 million buy side. Halliburton, 1.1 million shares to the buy side. Uber is a bit of a sell. GLW Corning, we're just talking about them, 600,000 buy. Oracle, almost 600,000 to the sell side. So there are a few names. Like for a Thursday, I'd say that's actually a pretty decent looking list. Chipotle just stood out because it's only done 9 million shares. So 3.7 million buy, and this is what we were referring to for the rug job that Chipotle got in the afternoon. And it is still underneath some of those lows. So yeah, they've been getting kind of shellacked, losing the 50 period. But if there's a buy imbalance on a stock that's been rugged, that can cause a little bit of juice. Now, ultimately, I think trend is down. So if it comes out a big buy, hopefully it pops right into this top, and then look for the 355 imbalance to flip, all that good stuff, and then goes right back into VWAP. Hopefully it does make it into that top when it does. But yeah, that Tesla, I hate to say it, where are we now? 316 and
What?
still.
Oh my!
Oh, it's continuing.
Should've shorted that.
Continuing to fall.
Oh,
It's getting rugged. Oh yeah, he's hitting it because the Austin 316. Nasty for Tesla. That continues to drop. I might try. I should have just shorted Lucid when it got to this pricing here at 660, right into the low. But if it breaks VWAP, we'll go for that. But I don't want to do that until the other side of the imbalances. So we'll wait about 4 minutes for the imbalances to come out. You don't want to. Imbalances are random. Like unless there's some kind of an index action, it's a coin
And
flip
even
which
then,
direction.
It comes the wrong way most of the time.
Oh, true, but at least you have something to go off of. Most of the other times, you're just guessing. So unless you're in something for another reason already, getting into position right before the imbalances, if you don't have an edge, doesn't really make a lot of sense. So you just kind of wait for the back end of it.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just making sure my stop order is ready to go. I mean, it's literally, I don't have the Stone Cold, just do the props right there. We'll props it up there because we got out at 116 right there off of the 200 period moving average. So we just have less than 10% left of this SpaceX trade and breaking through 117 and change. I'm going to start getting some sort of more of a complex than I already have because every time it comes to me, I hear in my ear, all right, time to go back to SIA. So we're going to go back to SIA right now with the crypto moment.
We're going to do a merge segment. Sorry about that, Sean. We're going to do a merge segment between Money Talks and crypto. We're going to take a look for the first time at the Russian ruble and what's going on here because I was hearing a lot about Russia today. So Russia's state oil and gas revenue, which accounts for around a fifth of the total budget income, is seen rising by 60% in July from the same month a year ago, all thanks to increase in global prices, which is the reason that's causing this upside almost everywhere. This is coming as per Reuters calculations, where I was going to take a look at the dollar, what is going on, up about 0.31% on the day, trading around the 101 mark right now, hovering near a 3-week high as surging oil prices, there we go again, and geopolitical tensions have stoked inflation worries, driving these market expectations that the Fed will maintain a tighter monetary policy. So we don't know about that. We're going to take a look at that. BTC USD, Bitcoin, down 2% on the day, trading around the $64,679 mark. Ethereum is also down 3% on the day, trading around, it's slipping further down, trading around $1,872. And Solana is down on the day, 3% as well, trading around $75.50 at the moment.
Thank you, Sia. And I'll try to be quick because I don't want to throw back to Sean and then we got to go right back up.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Don't do that.
PCG, just PG&E, PCG, just it kind of almost doubled the imbalance there, up to 7.1 million shares now. So that's getting larger to the sell side. The annoying thing is that it actually dropped. So Chipotle was pretty big, and now PCG is the bigger one. But it's already, remember, other people get to see this too. Like we're showing it to you because we have it, and why not? But others that can front run this potential sell imbalance are already doing so through the low. There might not be that much edge with PCG. So I'm going to throw over to Sean. I'm going to also double check just to make sure there isn't some sort of an index action with PCG, because there might be.
Yeah, I have my stop. I was just talking about it right there on SpaceX. So, it does not look like it has in the past, right? I mean, the past couple times into the close. I mean, first of all, SpaceX short today, kablamo, and then all nicely cooking right there. And we had this short yesterday as well off of the 125. We got the 119 all the way down. You saw it bled right into the close there, and before finally catching a little bit of a bid after hours. But SpaceX just downside, and even the day before, whoosh to the downside again. And today, nepa. It doesn't go very whoosh at all. So now we wait to see what's going to happen here with those market and close imbalances that are now un momento away. We're not too far. Oh, what the? Oh, okay, well, there you go. Hey, it's me, and I put the wrong, I forgot that I had an offer there. So, okay, we're short another bit there, just 20% of a unit. We just took that short into this number. And again, if it breaks through 117.50 on an imbalance, we're going to get out. If this was an actually real amount of shares, I would probably panic and punch out right now because I don't want to be involved into these imbalances. But we are now 20 seconds away, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to put a bid down here we just got short at 30s. We'll put a bid at flat for like half of what we just got right there. And if it does fall back into us, then we'll take it. Look, SpaceX could be a sell today, right? And maybe we do get a downside push here. Otherwise, it's a 20-cent hit, probably with slippage. We'll get a little more than that, and we'll see what winds up happening here. Now, okay, it must be a buy.
It's a 500,000 buys.
Okay, so relatively small. I think they'll probably get stopped out momentarily right here. It didn't go up that much, but it was Intel. Whatever, I'm not going to look at that anymore. Intel there with 100 on it there, so we'll see if that has much to do here with their sell side. Back to $100 on the dot, $2 million on the buy side. Qualcomm, love some Qualcomm, that's for sure, but that's a bid and down 3%. I do think both these names are somewhat related here into the close. Uber is just a disaster, man. I don't know. Don't mind taking it, but don't like holding it as an investment, and should have been out this thing at $80. I'll never live that down, but when next time it comes up, I need to make sure I make the same mistake again. And NVIDIA catching a bid. So that's kind of a nice story there as well for NVDA. SpaceX on the move down. We'll take a little bit of opportunity to get out of that one as, I guess bank error in our favor there as it does not break 1750. So we will take advantage of that, get out something around the teens now, and wait to see if SpaceX does fall. I do have a bigger bid at 117 flat. And without any further ado, it's Sia at the desk.
Okay, I wasn't ready, but no worries. We're going to take a look at Intel over here. I just want to go over really quick what to remember when you go into the earnings today. So on my screen is something that I had put together a month or two ago when I was on the desk, when I was on the big screen talking about it. So that's the first quarter 2025 expectations and reality, and the first quarter of 2026 expectations and reality. But here's what they are predicting for the second quarter of 2026. So Wall Street analysts have projected a consensus adjusted earnings per share of 22 cents and revenue of approximately $14.43 billion. Revenue approximately $14.43 billion. So Wall Street consensus is sitting between 19 cents and 22 cents per share, marks a strong jump from the negative 10 EPS that was reported in the same quarter almost last year. Revenue projected between the range of $14.42 billion to $14.45 billion. Midpoint revenue, management has previously guided for $14.3 billion. Profitability and margins, they're forecasting a baseline return to profitability with GAAP EPS of 0.08 and gross profit margins of 37.5%. Data center and AI, analysts are expecting revenue to climb to $5.54 billion, which is up 40% year over year behind demand for Xeon 6 processors. Foundry services also, revenue is projected at $5.48 billion. And investors will be looking for updates on external customers and commercial progress on their 18A process node.
Okay.
Thank you for the update there, Sia. And during that time, unfortunately, Intel lost the $100 level. So back into some of these lows. You have about 7 minutes to go until the close. I can tell you, PCG came out smaller than expected. Chipotle didn't even come out over 1 million shares. Intel paired off a good portion of that and bounced down to 1.3 million.
SpaceX, boo.
Yeah, pretty much nothing burger there. SpaceX is still buy of 300,000. I just looked up and saw it, but you have to scroll down to be able to find it. So not really that crazy here. Like, this is what happened. The problem with PCG, it doesn't matter that it came out big because they already front ran the number. So unless you can get it higher off VWAP, they kind of sold it off 1% when they saw the early look imbalance. So outside of Intel tonight, I think the big story will be how does Tesla end? Ooh, big bounce on Tesla. That wasn't even.
There must have been an imbalance.
Yeah, I have it as a really small buy imbalance, like really, really small, like 100,000 shares on Tesla to the buy imbalance. But it's really rallying, up $5. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, taking out profits for anyone that was holding it would be buying it. So that makes a little bit of sense.
Here we go.
Cheese in a chair, our good friend. Well, you know what? You know I'm a long-term investor as well.
Yeah.
Tonight's SpaceX launch could circle Jupiter 3 times, save Bruce Willis, and safely land back on Earth with a cargo of Canadian Fruit Loops.
I'm long.
And I'll still be shorting that hype all the way down to 90. That's the super chat of the day.
But would it be hype though? You mean if that actually happened? Yeah.
Save Bruce Willis?
Yeah, this would be great there.
And the problem is
and all these kind of things happening right now.
I don't think that dude survived the nuclear blast in Armageddon. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah,
I don't think it worked out well for him. I know you didn't necessarily see it physically happen on camera, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say there's nothing to save. He's a little itsy bits and pieces floating around.
We're going back up to the upside with NVIDIA, so we're just gonna clean some of that out right now. As there, I have some more offers out there that I got to cancel. I don't want to get filled again on those. So we'll punch out a little bit here, hold a little bit into the close, just to see what winds up cooking here with NVIDIA. Nice move up into 208 now as we continue to go higher and higher. Good little hold there. We did get, by the way, SpaceX ran, so we got some out there. It's nothing. I'm upset because it fell right after I got stopped out there, but you play the game with the imbalances, and that's what happens. I mean, we just got back up to 1740 a minute ago, so you never know where these things are going to go. But yeah, it should be a good one. We'll stay late a little bit here for Intel. The expectation is 4 o'clock. If it's anything later than 4:05, I'm out of here. So we'll just stay like this, and Neil and I will take you in for Intel into the close. So stay with us. Maybe 5-10 minutes
Usually
after.
pretty prompt.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes after, we'll get the number in our ear. We'll give it to you. We'll have a look to see, what's moving the market at 4 p.m. But it will be Intel, and not much else going on. I actually just I was just looking at it. I want to thank Adara for it again here. These are the earnings tonight, so it's very much nothing. This today's the 23rd. Yeah, so there's Intel Deckers. So catch me outside, Deckers outdoors, and then Newmont as well. So a little bit in that gold trade. So we'll look for some of those, and we'll be more importantly paying attention to Intel. I think we got to go back to the desk.
See, now you're just paranoid about it.
No, I did. There was.
I just wanted to mention there was something, but no.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to mention the Deckers infographic is also up on X at TTV Research that Adara made. So if you want to go check that out before they report earnings, please go ahead and do that as well.
All right. There you go.
Thank you, Sia. And I told Sean when you said that story about how it seemed like every single time you started talking, it would be a call to go up to the desk. Sia is way too nice to have taken advantage of that. If I was on the desk, the second, or I know Joe probably would do it too. It's like the second it goes back to Sean. It's like, come to me, please. Of course.
Yeah, but then I would have.
You gotta. No, but just to go back and forth.
I would have countered that.
I know you'd have something.
Real quick.
And then we'd have a little bit of fun with it. But we're gonna have fun with Intel if you're in a Newmont, more power to you. And again, if you like Deckers, great. I don't think anyone here cares about Deckers. Maybe they do, not to insult them. But right now, the winner of the poll, which we closed, I closed it a while ago, but I didn't show you guys. It'll be 37% of the viewers feel Intel is a buy overnight. Remember, the expected move is 12%. So you think it's going to move big to the upside. 48% sell. 15% are thinking chop. Also, someone put in $ beep. What is that about? What's with the $ beep?
I don't know, but I don't think chop. I think it's. It might what chop around? Yeah, okay, no, maybe.
Yeah, chop is like don't move.
I think it's going to be some kind of a move.
It's definitely going to move. The expected move is 12%.
So it's not like a huge call here that it's going to move, but I think it's definitely. I'm going to go long. I'm going to go long on that and think that there's a good chance that we break through that 110 area, give us that 10% plus coming through on Intel. Let's see if it gets back. I don't think 120 is out of the realm either. And if you're looking at a downside area, we had bounced off 90 already. That would be 10% down. And if you do get that 12%, 85, I'm buying more Intel on week. Like if Intel ever touches an 8 handle, you'll see me buying tomorrow. Just like today, Fabian scared the what out of me right there over there. But I was waiting for Google to make this move down. I stepped in today, bought some Google, and we're gonna make the same mistake maybe tomorrow with Intel if it gets back into the 75, 80 range. I'm still long in the probably 19, 20 area, but we're waiting now. It's the first time I ever bought Intel was down way back when, and this is not a flex. I mean, I had no idea this was going to happen. And I think it was just, we kept on, we had Brian Shannon on. We literally, Adara will remember this if she was around here for sure. But we had kind of joked that how long this had stayed underneath this $20, $25 marker. And once it broke out, it was kind of just a shot call. And then all of a sudden the US government got involved and, the rest is history. And then we got that chip boom and, boom goes Intel. So, all right, man, we are now 45 seconds away from the closing print here on Intel. And then I think it's supposed to drop. It
should be right away. I just want to say one thing. People have asked about what's going on with Palantir. It's on fire into the close. The whole market's bouncing into the close.
Palantir,
but specifically, there were a few names that had small sell imbalances that flipped to buy imbalances. So like a bunch of names just flipped to very small buy imbalances, and I think that's a little bit of what happened there. So the whole entire market's going to be bouncing with just over 10 seconds. Like here's the Nasdaq. Obviously, it's going to the upside as well late in the day. But we got 10 seconds to the closing bell, which is brought to you by VFS. That is ticker VFS, VinFast. Want to shout out to them. You can also scan that QR code. Thank them for sponsoring the closing bell. And then shortly after this closing bell, which you just heard, we should be getting Intel earnings. Obviously, nothing yet.
No, that's not obvious. I mean, I think it's going to come out immediately. We have Intel. We got out some on NVIDIA right there. Okay, here's Intel reporting 38 cents versus 27. So 38 versus 27, a higher than expected number right there. We'll get the revenue in a couple seconds here. 16.13 billion, beating 14. Double beat, top and bottom line there for Intel. So right now, you're not getting too much of a move, but it's moving. And there it goes, 104, 103.50. Intel now popping through right now, up $4, $5, $4.50. A beat on the EPS and a beat on revenues. And they're talking positively, apparently, with their move forward. I don't have a future guide right yet.
No guidance.
But there goes Intel cooking right now. Do we want to go back to Sia? What do you have back there? We don't have her mic on. Once it's on, we'll go back to Sia right there. 105 and change, 106, starting to go higher right now into the report. So it looks like whoever might have put Chop down
right now
potentially might be accurate, but let people parse through the numbers, and we'll get a second there. And Sia, let us know. I don't know if it might have been the guys.
Still not seeing guidance.
No, me either.
It's just top and bottom so far.
Okay, so there's still more to come then for Intel. Just broke through 105, back down to 102. I mean, this is a wild trader right now, man. It just broke 105.
Everyone's waiting
over there.
Okay, so we got gross margins, 42% versus 40% there. And then Q2 revenue, we already had that to beat. So, I mean, they beat on margins as well. I know we're waiting for the guidance, but hey, it's a beat on top and bottom and a slight beat on the margins. Remember, margins are a big deal. And the conference call, you're going to want to pay attention to, hey, the yields. Let's see if they're improving their yields because that's an important part of getting major customers to their foundry business. Let's go back to Sia.
Okay, Intel numbers here. Revenue coming in at $16.13 billion versus $14.42 billion that was estimated. We have adjusted EPS at 42 cents versus 21 cents that was estimated. Non-GAAP gross margin 41.8% versus 38.76% estimated. Now, the Q3 guidance, revenue at $15.8 billion to $16.8 billion versus $15.10 billion that was estimated. Adjusted EPS at 38 cents versus 27 cents that was estimated. And CFO David Zinsner is saying that 2026 CapEx is going from $18 billion to $20 billion with 2027 CapEx, quote unquote, to be up meaningfully.
That's I'm seeing the guide is like about a 9% beat on guidance relative to the midpoint. That's pretty good. Like 38 cents versus 24 cents, that's easy math. But then 15.8 to 16.8 billion Q3 they're looking at for estimated sales versus 15 flat. So that's about 9% beat on the guide. Maybe they don't like this CapEx, I guess.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's still up to 106 right now. It's starting to go up. I mean, Intel's turning its, what was a bad day for the chip space back up now 4%. There it goes now 7% on the earnings call alone. Remember, we closed at $100, now up to 107. You're starting to creep up to that 12%. We know we like the long, man. I pushed that number 1 on the poll there, and here it goes up to 810. Sia, give us one more little bit, and then we'll get out of here.
Absolutely, yeah. I need to give you a couple more numbers. So adjusted operating margin at 17.2%, 17.2% versus estimated that was 11.1%. Client computing revenue standing at $8.88 billion versus estimated $7.99 billion. Data center and AI revenue at $6.26 billion versus estimated $5.54 billion. And finally, two things. Intel Foundry revenue at $5.77 billion versus $5.48 billion estimated. Finally, adjusted free cash flow at $8.42 billion versus, negative $8.42 billion versus negative $1.05 billion year over year.
All right. So, I mean, it sounds like, I like the improving margins. I mean, that's going to be something that's
big.
pretty big, right? And I mean, that's the whole thing. If you can continue to sell more product and have higher margins, that's the recipe for success. Intel now up almost 10%. It was $100. Now it's up to 110. This is going to be misleading because it was down 3% today. So there it is. There's 110. So you just got it right there. What a move there in the after hours for Intel. Congratulations to everybody on that play. Let's have just a quick look and then we're out of here. AMD says thank you very much for that as well.
Great,
that's up huge right now as well, up to 552. I don't think NVIDIA will be following it, although we got a great print on NVIDIA at the end of the day, 209 for that one. We talked about maybe Qualcomm could see a little bit of a boost there on better PC demand, but doesn't look like it. But it's just Intel right now that's really starting to get going here. INTC, nice upside play there, Intel. So yeah, congratulations. It looks like we're right back to where we were yesterday. Let's see what winds up happening here after hours as the conference call still to come.
Hold the gains in the conference call and get to that 12% that was expected. It's been a good one for the markets to the downside, but can Intel possibly save the day? That's a question we're going to be answering tomorrow morning. You're going to see us at 8 o'clock for the entire team. Good big shout out to Sia, obviously, for filling in for Dara, who'll be back on Monday. She'll be doing a great job.
He's got one more day.
One more day. I was going to say Joey Options, but he's gone.
And then Joe's out of here, man. Joe's
I thought he was still here, man.
Joe's gone, man. He's running around our
Tarps
parking lot. Tarps off, running
right.
around there, celebrating something probably.
My bad.
All right, good day today. Yeah, good.
Enjoy the pasta.
Yes. I'm going to see what
tonight. The gnocchi, I should say.
I might have some veal parmesan. You never know what's going to happen there tonight. But okay, thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Sia. Thanks, everybody in the back.
You get some.